What is the mother flipping deal? Welcome to the den. I hope all of you wonderful people are doing swell. Let us talk about things. Ron Isley, screw you and your technicalities. Gosh darn it. I'll be on the screen in just a second. I'm half naked and nobody wants to see that. So, if you're not familiar with the den, discussing everything naturally, discussing everyday news, deporting every nigga, this is the Den Show. Now, you can search high and low, but you will not find a better show wherever you may go. The reason why is because of you wonderful people who are here, and I mean you, yes you, sitting at home, sitting in your vehicle, sitting at work, wherever you may be. I wish nothing but the best for you. Mr. Ken, thank you, sir. I appreciate the love. Let's get this party cracking. I am your amigo, your friend, Sir Ed Honcho. I'm looking forward to some of the changes that are going to be coming. I've just been busy. A busy bee, but hopefully by the end of the week, I can start seeing some of the things that have been implemented. Yeah, like I said, I'm your host, Ed Honcho, man. I'm happy that you are here. Let's see what we got joining us. And then let's get into some great conversation. Again, shout out to Ken. I appreciate the love. Ken's been with us a long time, man. I'm proud to see the young man that Mr. Ken has become. And yeah, I'm talking about Kenneth Cologne. The other Ken is significantly older than Kenneth Cologne. So the lovely Miss Sarah Lou, how are you? John, my favorite New Yorker. 17, motherfucking protege. Miss Bell, Northern style. I like my sweet tea unsweet. Broderick, I guess Dakota niggas you first. Travis Damasio, what's the motherfucking deal? Footballer 503, good to see you, my friend. What's the motherfucking deal? Kenneth Cologne. Kenneth went from simping Ken to gentleman Ken. You know, a great transition. Ronald Isley. Damn it. What did Ronald Isley's name used to be? Ruby Roo or some used to have a Rudy Poo. I don't remember what the name used to be. It used to be something. Delta Echo Golf, what's the motherfucking deal? Marie Lovely, the lovely Miss Marie, repairing all the headboards in the house. May have knocked down a mounted TV or two, but hey, that's what it's there for. What's going on? All right, so a lot to talk about. Put the glasses on. I'm going to look like a gentleman this evening. Yes, we have something important to talk about. So let me put my glasses on so I can act like I'm semi-sophisticated. Oh, that is right, Miss Marie. You did say that you caught the 19. How are you doing? I hope all is well. I hope that you are, beating the brakes off of it. And, that you will be over it if you're not already over it. So, situation at the border, my friend. Hey, my friend. Hey, just for you, my friend. My friend is such a weird thing, right? Because everybody uses it. I wonder if that's like one of the first English words people learn when they come to America. I know, I guess when Middle Eastern people use it, hey, my friend, I got a special deal just for you, my friend. Special stream just for you, my friend. Mike Schomer, what's the motherfucking deal? Even the Hispanic, my friend. Hey, my friend. Hey, my friend. No, I don't know about niggas though. Niggas don't be having no friendly words. Nobody where they come from us with, hey, my friend. No, that's not that. Hey, nigga. But So, border, Del Rio, talked about it, right? It's been real weird. Been like a lot of stuff happening there. Because when I first noticed it, when it was just this influx, when they were showing it, people crossing the river, I was like, man, these people look really, really, really black, right? Like, where are they coming from? Then you find out that it is large amounts of Haitians um, crossing the border, right? Large amounts of Haitians crossing the border. You're like, what is going on? Where are they coming from? Like, how did they get there from Haiti? And Haiti has its fair share of issues. And so you're just like, how did they get there, right? If everything is so bad, if everything's so terrible, financially, how did they get there? Did somebody fund their trip to Mexico to cross the border? I was looking for a particular video before I got started here, and pardon me if y'all hear anything in the background. Yeah, be guest staying with us for a little bit. It's our first guest, and so like I said, it's just I've seen so many black folks crossing the border. I'm like, what's going on, right? And then you find out they're Haitians, and then allegedly they've been living in South America for a long, long time. And it's hard for me to believe that, right? It's hard for me to believe that because, like, so when did like they do the Thundercat call or what? And is all of them assimilated together? Like, have there been large communities of them living in South America, and they all just made their way up and like, oh, they're going, we're going too, and everybody just went at the same time? I find it very interesting. But then I also find it very interesting because, there's a guy who's currently in office said, oh, let's bring everybody in. Everybody deserves a good life. Everybody deserves, and then the chick that I don't ever hear from, they never show her ass because she's terrible. She's like, yeah, everybody deserves fair. We're going to give them insurance and give them money and all this other stuff. So maybe they've been making their way here for a while. But then the trip is dangerous. Do not come. Do not come. I'm just like, I think I'm going to come. They made a decision, right? So now you have all these blacks at the border, right? And it seems very peculiar because we start seeing situations like this taking place. Even though it looks like he has a smile on his face, it could just be the way that it was caught. I mean, the timing. Because it looks like some old, you can't catch me, motherfucker. Run fast you can. You can't catch me. I'm the Haitian bread man. They got fucking plate. Dog, they get better food than you get in fucking county, bro. You see a fucking styrofoam plate with real food in it. That motherfucker, they got Gatorade and all that shit. And I've been showing y'all some videos the past few days. And I might bring a couple of them back. I deleted most of them. But in those videos, I've shown you, the Haitians, how crowded it was at the border. I showed you the Fox News flying around. They had the drone, and they had to shut the drones down, so the cops took them up in the helicopter. And then, like I said, you found out a lot of these people have been getting turned around, deported, sent away. But then, on the other hand, in this same time frame, and I wouldn't say they're all from Del Rio, but you're seeing immigrants across America, more Hispanic immigrants, all over airports and bus terminals. No bags, no belongings, plenty of children. And they have folders, a little bit of food, things of that nature. But you don't see them being turned away. You're seeing them being driven inward. Hey, what state do you want to go to? Getting dropped off in California, getting dropped off in Texas off the bus. They're getting sent to Catholic charities. They're being given clothing and some of them some finances. A lot of people getting flown from overseas, other countries who don't even really care for America, right? Not being properly vetted while Americans are being left behind and brought across and dropped in random states, wherever. Some of them being given stipends to, make sure that they're properly adjusted when they get here. I find this peculiar, right? Because this is Joey. Go Joey B. Oh, Joey B loves the POC, right? And this is the same Joe that campaigned on so many things, so many promises. And it's a black man. Surprise, surprise. One, if I could have, would not have voted for Joe Biden. I would not have danced in the mailbox. As you can see, this would disavow me from being able to participate in such shenanigans. But I find it peculiar that Joe Biden has become president. He's done things for the trannies. They get to go get free surgery. Just say you're committed to the military for 4 years, you get a surgery every couple of weeks, so you can transition, mental, whatever so you really don't have to do anything. Just go get a free surgery. It's like, come on down. The price is right. You can go in the bathrooms. You can do all that. You can be a sex offender. Just say you're a woman. You can go in there with the women and the girls. It's no big deal. It'll be their fault if they say that. Shame on you, right? I just mentioned all the Hispanics you're bringing in. You've left Americans in Afghanistan, but make sure you brought Afghanis over. And then at the border, all right, at the border, Hispanics, plenty of them coming in by the thousands. But these darker hued travelers seem to be getting rejected, turned around. You're seeing pictures like these. Seeing motherfuckers looking like, some would say, slave catchers, right? I don't necessarily have a dog in the fight. You say, oh, because they're black, you got to feel a certain way. No, absolutely not. I don't like niggas in America. That's why the hell I want to bring in some more niggas not from America. But what I do, and what I do try to stand on is even treatment in a given situation, right? So my deal, and what I don't understand is, what is so different about the scenario of these darker hued Haitians coming in by the thousands? Remember that caravan was coming? We're going to let the caravan on in. Man? Join the caravan of love. We're letting them in. But then, caravan got a little darker, right? This is a different caravan. This wasn't the caravan we originally planned. And now it seems to be an issue. Now it seems to be like, hey, no crossing the water, no none of that. I'll give you a boat ride, none of that. So my question is to you and to the hidden Biden supporters out there. What's so different? Remember that was a Genuine song back in the day. What's so different? That's where I am considered. I still got to see that. And here, what I did not know about the vax cards. I didn't know that. And surprise, surprise, we're going to talk about it tomorrow. We're going to talk about BLM versus the vax versus NYC. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Who to put that on their 2021 bingo card, right? I think it's beautiful. BLM versus vax, that is beautiful. All the sensible people just sit on the sidelines and watch. Like, we're going to sit this one out. We're just going to let y'all do whatever y'all do to each other. I got a couple of interesting videos. We're gonna get into that. But my thing is, what's the difference? Why are you turning these people away from a better life, right? The American dream, the American opportunity, the American communism. Y'all see, Biden already told y'all, we talked about it a few weeks ago, maybe about 2 weeks ago, maybe last week. But if you have a bank account, it's not even $600 transactions. If you have $600 in an account, they want to watch those accounts. What is $600? A paycheck? In an account? And I know they say, most Americans don't have $1,000 in savings and things of that nature. So maybe $600 is something serious to the Biden administration. Remember, like, why are we watching bank accounts now? What is it that you're worried about in the American bank account that you want banks to report accounts over $600? You want cheaper Latino perspective, but you get rid of you uppity Negroes. But again, But it doesn't matter. $600. You get it. That's gonna be what they're gonna do is they're gonna put that in action. Oh, give niggas a fucking stimulus check. Wow. Now we got the right to survey. $600 stimulus check. Oh, you're gonna decline the stimulus check? You know, niggas gonna take that check. Now we, you know, if you didn't have it, now you do. Right? Oh. You sending money to the weed man? Huh. Not anymore, nigger. But again, it's just like it's a crazy situation, right? That's why I'm just wondering, like, what happened? Where are all the people that voted for him that approve of this? Like, I want to see all the like, I want those people to come out and say, this is a good idea, this matters, this is important. You won't, you can't, because you voted on this for this clown who literally had nothing, campaigned on nothing. But I'll tell you my plan, you know, I'll tell you my plan when you vote for me. And niggas bought that shit. Niggas got nothing from this shit. And so I laugh. It's the best comedy since Dave Chappelle's last stand-up. Because niggas got nothing. Got played again. Congratulations, you played yourself. Right? And then the motherfuckers who look like you continue to get the downside of the stick because you believed in this motherfucker, right? So what happens is, again, the people who supported this guy, the people who rooted for this guy, the people who voted for this guy, never have anything to say. I ask open-heartedly to understand the perspective. It's never anything good about Biden. It was always, well, there was something bad about Trump. Well, Trump's not here anymore. Biden's the man. Biden has everything he needs to rectify everything that Trump ever did. But it seems as though doing a little bit worse, right? Everybody complained about how terrible Trump was handling the 19, right? There was no vaccine during his run. There's one now. Infections higher than ever, worse than ever. Why? Explain it to me. You would think even with the large numbers of people who have been jabbed that those numbers would decline, right? Well, why haven't they? You would have thought the hot spots, all the major ones would have been when there was no option. People were still spreading even though there were quote unquote lockdowns. Why? These are all Biden's inherited problems. He said he was going to fix it. He said he had a solution for it, that he was going to fix it all. He would tell you what it was when he got elected. Got elected and said, we just got to let it run its course. I want to speak to a Biden voter, but what you've gotten to the point now where nobody will admit that they voted for him. How is he the most popular elected president of all time? I cannot personally find a person who will admit that they voted for him. Tax evasion, $600. Right. They'll use any terms. Did y'all see what happened today? Did y'all see what happened today with Boris Johnson? Y'all might not like Trump, but y'all can't say that this motherfucker's nicknames were not on point, bro. Sleepy Joe. Sleepy Joe. They're gonna vote for him next. Well, I didn't have, they stopped me from doing what I wanted to do in the first 4 years, Negroes. You got to vote for me again this time. I promise I'm going to give you, oh, yeah, let's just got to give him a chance. He only had 4 years. Things are stupid. Like, we need reading tests for niggas to be allowed to vote. We need like, I'm for all the voter ID laws. I'm for all of the reading comprehension. Bring all the tests back. But niggas, bring them back for everybody at this point. Everybody's a nigga. That's gonna be the next shirt. Everybody's a nigga. Like, bro, at this point, like, just doesn't even matter. The machines that it's impossible to hack them, bro, even though your vice president said that she saw them get hacked in front of her face, right? It's super wild. Come on, man. It's super wild. And it's saddening, right? I'm gonna tell y'all I want that farm. For real. I want that farm. But the farm might not be in America. The way things are going in this motherfucker. The loonies, the cuckoos, the alphabets, the pronouns. They just fucked up the English language. They just made the whole English language super gay. But like I said, I got a couple of videos. We'll show a couple of these videos, and then I'll open up the line. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know your feelings, right? So like I said, if you didn't see these videos, I'll show them again. You know those bags of food that they're holding? I'll show you where those came from. If you didn't see this. I'm gonna get another copyright claim for this video. every time I show y'all videos of the video, I get copyright claim. I gotta go back and mute. That's why you gotta watch the sauce live. Like if you want the Den live, you want the unedited raw Dens, you gotta watch it fucking live, and then catch it. I need to be recording these things while I do them. I guess that's the smart thing to do. And then we always keep an unedited version on hand. Look at all this good food. Look at these good food. Look at these good Mexican food. And so down at the border, they took them all plates while they were hanging out under the bridge. Pravanga! And then they started chasing on horses. Cracking the whip. Small Django shit. Oh, well, that's much clearer. I must have been using these things wrong my whole life. So then you take that video, you're like, well, how did that prove anything? Well, it shows you. They went and took it to them down there. See part 2, serving the government-paid meals to the immigrants under the POE in Del Rio, Texas, 9/16/2021. See, I mean, it's moving a little fast, but you see how those are the horses. That's the horse. He's the same horse. Oh. All the old dens are still there. All the old dens are still there. I got they're unlisted. I think I'm gonna make a bunch of progress. You can still access them unlisted. You just kind of gotta go down the rabbit hole. But you can still get to them. Look at him. That's the one. That's the horse right there on the other side. But what I'm going to end up doing is, like I said, I have titties. There you go. Milk does a body good. But what I'm saying is, like, I have a very large hard drive on the way. What I'm gonna end up doing is, like I say, taking them all, remove them all. I have all the cushion saved, but I'm gonna remove them all off my actual PC, put them on a drive just for all the dens. I might do it with the sauces too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at a certain point, the old sauces are kind of irrelevant, but I just want to have them for my own sake. And so, yeah, just keep them like that. I don't know how it's going to impact anything with the algorithm, but then eventually take all those old ones, like I say, once I get some of my own shit going and put it on my own thing to where you got to worry about it. But I guess, you might want to keep them just to have those chats too. So I guess that's a thing. I got to figure out if there's a way to obtain the chat information and do something else. Anyway, yeah, no, that's what I say. Yeah, no, they're there. Like I said, they're there. They're not on the thing. Like I said, I've minimized most of them. And because what I do is I go back and because I had them all on playlists. So that's why a lot of them were still accessible. So I deleted all those playlists. And then I only made it accessible like the last 3 or 4 months. And then I delete that playlist like after every 3 months or so. But like I can still see all of them. So I'm Latino Spanish people. So there's that, getting the people fed. They chase them down. And then, like I said, this was the gentleman who was talking about, when he was having his issues getting in the country.
All right, people. Y'all want to see something buck wild, crazy? Much trouble as I just had getting into the United States. I'm at the McAllen Airport. I want y'all to look at this. Every person in here has either a red envelope, a green envelope, or a brown envelope. Not a single person speaks English, and all these are free airfare to different cities in the United States. Even the airport people are freaking out. Look at this craziness. Free airfare. They don't even have luggage. They got like bags of chips and stuff, and they're just sending them all across the U.S. Look at this lady right here. She's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kids and doesn't even have any luggage. No luggage. No food. Nothing. This is the Biden administration and what they're doing. This is crazy is what it is. Slap full of these envelopes. I'm watching them check in up front too. They're showing up with like a grocery bag with some chips and a couple of Cokes in it.
Keeps it inside the chips.
Thanks, Biden. Thanks a lot, bro.
Got nothing but some chips. Ain't even got no clothes or no luggage. They just got chips. These damn chips. What kind of chips? They're just chips. They don't even have a name on the chip. They're just chips. That's crazy. That's wild, right? So, like, and again, that's why I say I'm curious about the different treatment of the two groups. One group is getting the boot. One group is getting the ticket, right? This is another example of...
¿A dónde vas? ¿Qué?
California.
California?
Again, the same envelopes he's talking about. They got the fucking envelopes.
I'll leave.
It's wild. Now, don't get me wrong. Okay. I do have sadness. I have remorse for these people. But there are outcomes, right? We don't enjoy the things and you say, well, you're just a dickhead. You're not willing to give up some of your freedoms so other people can enjoy a little bit. Well, it's not quite that, right? When a person comes here illegally and they get more benefits than you and you've been here, it's kind of a weird thing, right? Kind of a questionable situation, right? Kind of makes you wonder, right? Like, how does that work? How does your government allow that? Like, hey, asylum seeker, cool. We got this place. We're going to let you hang out, feed you, treat you well. You're seeking asylum. Well, you won't be in danger, but you won't be roaming freely throughout the country, only to cut your ankle monitor off and we never hear from you again. Right? This is not like we don't know what happens, right? There's cities, entire communities, especially of Hispanics, don't speak any English. And you say, well, how do they live? Maybe there's plenty of them get plenty of work. They have skills, And they're willing to do things for cheaper. Like, I forgot, there was a book a long time ago basically talking about the Texas construction industry. It's almost like a mafia. You know what I mean? And the crazy part about it is, the last few jobs I ever got is only because I knew somebody Hispanic. A lot of these things you get wrecked in, you get recommended. And this is not just in Texas, all over the country a lot of times, depending on where you're going. And you got to know somebody, right? But it's very Hispanic dominated. And like I said, my best friend, Hispanic gentleman, he got plugged in, he plugged me in. Opportunity for me, right? Niggas ain't running shit, and niggas don't even want to help other niggas out. But so there are ways to get things done. Because I mean, I've actually talked when I chop it up with them. I'm not sitting there acting like they're not bad people. I don't think they're terrible people. But ultimately, it's the people that are here that are going to end up losing. And I'm not talking about the people here that don't want to do shit. The people who actually are trying to, be a healthy part of society. And they'll tell you, we use other social security numbers, or we use this, or we use that, and whatever else it may be, and they get jobs, right? So like, I chopped it up with them. Cool, right? Carpool to work with them. So it's not like I think they're terrible. I don't think, just look at these terrible, awful people. But they're here. They take advantage of certain programs and things and benefits that we do not get access to, right? It is what it is. I told y'all about you. Look at the magazine. I don't know if there's other places, but I know I see them in here in Houston. No license, no insurance, no ID, no social security. And you can drive off the lot with a car, a new vehicle. How the fuck does that work? No credit, no license, no insurance, no none of this shit. We can put you in a new car. How does that work? Right? And then that's cool for the car lot. It ain't cool for the motherfucker who get hit by one of these motherfuckers. They ain't got no insurance. Just drive off on your ass. These are factual things that take place. No, it's not national news. These incidents happen like this all the fucking time. And again, it's just people wanting to make a better life for themselves, but at whose expense? Anywho, so let's take a look at this. I'm showing y'all all of that. This is what you're here for.
The White House condemned U.S. Border Patrol agents on Monday who were seen using a whip-like cord to block Haitian migrants carrying supplies into the U.S. from Mexico. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said she had seen some of the footage, calling it unacceptable.
We just saw this footage. It's horrible to watch. I just have to get more information on it. I can't imagine what the scenario is where that would be appropriate. I'm certainly not suggesting that, but we've just seen the footage earlier this morning.
Reuters drone footage captured hundreds of mostly Haitian migrants crossing back and forth between Ciudad Acuña in Mexico and the sprawling camp across the border in Del Rio, Texas, to buy food and water that was short in supply on the U.S. side. Reuters witnesses saw mounted officers in cowboy hats blocking the paths of migrants, and the apparent use of horse reins swung to threaten the migrants. At the White House, Psaki was pressed over whether disciplinary action would be taken.
Is it the president's stance or the White House's stance that whoever these border agents are using what seems to be whips on migrants, that they would be fired or at least never be able to do that again?
Of course they should never be able to do it again. I don't know what the circumstances would be. It's obviously horrific, the footage.
U.S. Border Patrol Chief Raul Ortiz said the incident was being investigated to make sure that there was not an unacceptable response by law enforcement. While visiting Del Rio on Monday, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas said the long reins are used by mounted officials to, quote, ensure control of the horse, but also vowed to investigate the facts. The camp under a bridge spanning the Rio Grande has become the latest flashpoint for U.S. authorities seeking to stem a flow of migrants fleeing gang violence, extreme poverty, and natural disasters in their home countries. Hundreds of migrants have been turned around on the Mexico side, leaving uncertainty whether they'll be deported on flights organized by U.S. authorities. Mayorkas said he expects between 1 to 3 daily repatriation flights back to Haiti, and stressed in a news conference that if individuals try to enter the U.S. illegally, they will be returned.
What's the difference? Just show various videos of people and sent all over the country getting special manila folders with their secret assignments inside. Going wherever they want to go to in America. Bus trips, wherever they want to go to. Motherfuckers getting threatened with long horse reins. It appears to be a whip-like image. Again, no dog in the fight. They're all immigrants, but why is one group getting treated significantly different than the other? That's my question. That's what I'm curious about. That's what I'm here to try to figure out. And I want to know your thoughts. I want to know how you feel. I want to know what you guys believe. So here's the thing. Also, y'all realize what I find really odd is the Border Patrol is primarily Hispanic. I felt like I was frozen, but I blinked. But it's primarily Hispanic, right? Pure chaos. This motherfucker. I just do Biden in less than a year is running this motherfucker into shit. Fucking wacky people in your restroom. They would never do that. I don't know why you're seeing that men and women's. It happened and continues to happen. Motherfuckers spying in your bank accounts. Motherfuckers, I don't know, supposedly flooding the border, sort of, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Well, the thing about the Mexicans is that their quote unquote leaders actually get stuff done. Here's the thing about niggas. Niggas want to be too politically motivated instead of just getting shit done. There is no business in politics for Black Americans. Okay. Let me say, well, recently probably tell Andrew Yang. I couldn't tell you about a prominent Asian leader, and I don't even think Asian people consider Yang one of their leaders. Then what? I can't tell you a Jewish person. I don't know what Jewish people. I don't know the Jewish thing, right? And so I can't tell you a prominent Jewish leader that has gotten them wealthy. Can you say that without getting killed? Don't cancel me, YT. I didn't mean it. I don't want to do the LeBron thing or the 21 Savage thing. I gotta come back and I want to apologize to all my Jewish friends. Well, one, they need a translator, so they got to work to afford the translator to call to fucking complain about it, Heidi. So they're just like, fuck it, I'd rather keep my money than have pay the translator. Like I said, yeah, if you're Black, you didn't vote for Biden, you ain't Black. So, unfortunately, I guess I'm no longer Black. I didn't know the white man could tell me that without other Black people being offended. But, if you say, well, what's the worst that can happen? You're obviously a racist, right? What's the worst that can happen? You fucking racist piece of shit. And you believe that orange racist motherfucker? Yeah, fuck him and his NAACP awards. Right. And the other guy said, well, you ain't Black if you don't vote for me. Oh, same motherfucker that put my uncle in jail for life. You know what? I ain't Black if I don't vote for him. I think he got my vote. He convinced me. But there's that. Yeah, I agree, Miss Shonda. Shout out to Chog Milk, Deacon Nobi. Heidi's here. Trillmatic. Beyond a funny nigga. What are you cooking? I'm curious. What are you cooking there? Ken and HB, what's the motherfucking deal? See anybody I may have missed? That's terrible that you still use this name, Calhoun. Quiz, what's the motherfucking deal? But like I said, you notice that that the border patrol is like primarily Hispanic. I remember a job I was working with this dude, and coming to find out some other weird stuff, because he was like, yeah, I was working for the border patrol, but I think he got a little too power happy. I think he did something and fucked up, but he wanted to go back so bad. Little Mexican dude, like, and none of the other Mexicans liked him at the job. It's primarily the same job I was talking about when I was referring to earlier, when I would speak to him and they talk about the Social Security stuff. Right. None of the other Mexicans liked him, but he was like somebody's cousin, so they got him on. Like, I think actually one time we actually hung out after work. There was a few of us. I think we watched a fight or something at my buddy's house, and he was a weirdo. I think he did powder. But none of the other Mexicans liked him. Turns out, like I said, he used to work for ICE, and he was like super eager to want to be able to go back and be a fucking agent. And I'm just like, why? What is it that, makes Hispanics more like? I mean, I guess location is one thing. If you live in South Texas, I guess, it's a thing, like big black women like working for the prisons. I don't know if that's like a thing, but I think there's a different thing. I hope that's not the same reason why Hispanics like being border patrol agents. That'd be really weird. Why the big black girls like being prison guards, because there's some non-listed benefits for them there. But I'm a terrible person. Why am I like this? But and I'm just curious what it is. Like, is it there that feeling of that you're a better Hispanic? Because I it's kind of something I seem like to have noticed. Like, are there Hispanic hierarchies? Like, I'm an American Hispanic, I speak my English, or I got here the right way, or I'm second, third generation, whatever it may be, or I followed the protocol, as opposed to motherfuckers just like skipped all the shit, just like, fuck it, I'm here, stealing somebody's Social Security, and I'm gonna work or whatever. Like, Black Image Community Center. Okay. Benefits be kicking in the first day. Yes. Kevin, your obsession with Heidi is very strange. Extremely strange. I wonder if there's a Canadian hierarchy. Like, are there certain Canadians that are better than others? Like, do they base it by like Providence or whatever? What do they have with their Providences? Or something like that? I don't know. Yes. I'm from Toronto. They're much better than, I don't know, what do they got? Ontario, Quebec, some other shit. Yeah, it's much better here. It's Quebecians. You know what I'm saying? Really? Indian Mexicans? Or is it that they have better cocaine, Heidi? I think it's because they have better cocaine. All right, let me switch over to taking calls mode. I want to talk to y'all, so let's take some calls. Oh yeah. So I'm gonna Twitch sometimes. I gotta finish Hitman, right? I was testing something out earlier, and so at some point, it's right here. At some point, I'm gonna have to get on Twitch and finish Hitman. I think I got like 2 levels left before I find the end of the story. And I went back. It's Heidi's fault too. It's like I had let it all go. Fuck it. It is what it is. It's Heidi's fault because she got me fucking thinking about that damn level. I was like, what the fuck is she talking about? And then I started fucking thinking all about the damn level. And then now I want to finish the game because I actually really do enjoy playing Hitman. It's really, really fun. Yeah. So I'm going to bring the Twitch crew back. Well, it used to be the Mixer crew. Mixer crew was super dope. I'm going to bring the Twitch crew now. Good night, lovely Miss Shonda Tony. Thank you for joining us this evening. You applied to Border Patrol, was heavily recruited. Was denied when I told agent I could solve the problem in 1 month. Just give me a Humvee with a 50 caliber. Yep, that's not gonna get you hired. He said Latinos born in the U.S. are looked down upon. They don't speak English. They act like AOC and J-Lo. Ah, Jenny from the block. You heard about AOC's? Did we talk about AOC's dress designer owing like fucking 100K or some shit? Fucking owing like a bunch of fucking money in taxes. Like how do you make a dress that says tax the rich knowing you owe $100,000 in back taxes? And they said she's like a fucking bummy renter and she like didn't pay rent. And she probably wants to be like you want to be rich. And that's really what it is. All these people who cry about all this shit just really want to be well off, right? And they're just mad that they're not. Like how the only way is to produce. That's it. That's you just gotta make some shit. And if your shit you make isn't good, then you gotta figure out how to make it better, right? Like that's it. That's the only way it works. You gotta put in that's niggas' problems. Especially if you're sitting here crying. It's like niggas don't make shit. Niggas make music for niggas. And then the white teenagers come buy it all. And then now that you ain't gotta like really buy music anymore, just stream it. Then some girl gets on crying, well, YouTube views aren't counted like streams because people don't pay for them, so they don't get weighted as heavily. And NBA YoungBoy should be on the billboard. Like, shut up, bitch. Fucking YouTube is free. Why should these things count? Like, why should that count? Anyway. Real Hispanics are less hairy. Wow. Wow. No, she didn't win. I'm talking about the dress. I don't give a fuck about AOC. AOC's a hideous woman. I'm talking about the dressmaker. Damn it. Fucking like that's the crazy part. Tax the rich. You owe $100,000, so you're probably what some most would consider well off, relatively rich, somewhere in there. Like, tax yourself, bitch. Pay your tax. How about that? Make a dress that says pay your taxes. That's what it should say. Ted Cruz. I thought he was a Canadian. I thought he was super Canadian. That's terrible. Why? Yeah, exactly. Dressmaker doesn't pay. That's the crazy part. Right? And she's married to, it's the funny thing, like I said, she's married to a dude who's super fucking rich. So he's like got $100 million. So it's pretty good. Right? And so that's the crazy part. Like, the hypocrisy. And Beto's a limp wrist. Is Beto married? And he's just skateboard with his homies all night long. Kill him. See, and that's again, I think I said this the other day. We were talking about, man, we had a good conversation in Discord today. But again, I think like all black dudes who vote for, who lean left. I won't say all. Let me say it. Let me put it like this. You're either ignorant or you're gay. If you're a black man that is voting Democrat, you're either very, very ignorant or you're very, very gay. Oh, word? Okay. Sure, those are his kids. Oh, hear a helicopter coming over. They're going to land in my yard and take me away. You're saying too much, God damn it, Honcho. And we don't like it. Fucking go skateboarding at Whataburger. God damn, that's funny. To knock up some prominent political daughter somewhere. And just like, yeah, for the official news station of Texas. Well, yeah, like I said, it's just married into money. Sounds like a strategy. But again, like I say, it's super wild. But you'd have to be either like really gay or really ignorant as a black man, because what prominent, like, what do you see? Like, when motherfuckers sit here and holler and cry all the time about representation, where is the representation for black men in the Democratic Party? That's my beef. Like, I'd rather align with the Larry Elders and Tim Scotts of the world, right, than I would Cory Booker. You believe that nigga? That nigga soft as fucking baby shit. The fucking Andrew Gillums of the world. I never heard a man speak prior to, but I mean, it is what it is now. You know what's going on. You know, like, every black man that you see that is out caping for the left has a structurally weak wrist. And it's unfortunate. So, yes, the line is, it's open. If the thing's scrolling across the screen, the screen, I guess it's scene, OBS uses scenes, the screen, then I don't have anything that rhymes. I tried. I need some water. So it's yeah. And that proved my point. You know, if you would think that Cory Booker's good looking, then you should vote left. White dudes, I can see it. I can see where you have you know, representation, if that's what you're looking for. But terrible policy. Like I said, ignorant, gay. It's the same category. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling in to the den this evening?
Mr. Honcho, man, it's your boy, Travis DiMaggio, the one who always tries to be educated.
Okay. Well, what's on your mind this evening, Mr. Travis?
Yeah, I know we were talking about the migrant crisis right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to put my opinion out there that I've come up with through reading through everything.
Okay.
There's one or two things going on and why the Haitians are being treated different from the Hamas and every other ones that came earlier this year. My first idea of how they could be, why they're being treated different, is that the lower approval rating that Biden has. He has the lowest approval rating, even lower than Trump during his first year.
That's
He is at an all-time low. Even Democrats are starting to, just look and wonder what the hell's going on. My other idea is that these Haitians see how communists and authoritarians have ruined their country, because it's a big reason why their country is in devastation, because they have a lot of corruption. They see it in America. They want to come to America, live a better life, but they don't want to see the corruption to continue. So they may more likely to be voting against the Dems. And those are my two opinions and why they're being treated different.
So you mentioned Biden having a low approval rating. What do you think that's mostly due to?
All right, we can start off with inflation. We can start off with more people thinking the election's rigged than not being rigged, which I think is that 52% of Americans believe the election was stolen or rigged in some way, shape, or form. Then you could go to Afghanistan. Everybody wanted to be out of there, but they didn't want the way to be done. 13 Americans being killed. Him looking at the watch as the Americans are coming off the plane in their caskets. Then you can look at the migrant crisis that's been building more and more and more. They not answering questions, being on vacation, and everything else that's going on. Him taking back promises, him saying he'll do one thing, do another. It's just a combination. And most of these people, they see it and they knew this was going to happen. Or you could be the Dems, that his approval rating for the Dems if I'm not mistaken, is at 89% or 86%. Most of these Democrats, they look at CNN during the election, or maybe every once in a while, and go, "Oh, orange man bad. I'm going to go vote for Biden." That's who they're telling me to vote for. They do that, and they leave, because they also believe the economy is doing very well. I think around 60% believe the economy is doing great. No, they're just idiots. They do what they're told. They don't live in reality. They try not to look at the news, or at least keep up on basic things. Because I know vegans that are as much a redneck as I am. They just had that experience growing up. But it's mainly due to these people not wanting to be educated, not wanting to go out and do their own research. It's trust the vaccines, trust the scientists, because they're scientists. I'm not. What? There's some left-wing Twitch streamer with the whole Nicki Minaj debacle that unfolded. He's like, he came on stream a couple days afterwards, like, "Oh, we just need to trust the vaccine. How can you possibly do your own research? You don't even know what they're talking about. I'm an idiot. Everybody that watches my stream an idiot, and we gotta trust the experts."
That's odd. I don't believe in experts.
Yeah.
Anything. I don't believe in sports experts.
Yeah.
I don't believe in experts in anything.
No, these experts at one point in time were fucking the same as you. Didn't know shit. They went and learned the shit. And this guy that said this is also the same person that said America deserved 9/11. So and he idolizes Stalin, the guy who's killed over 60 million people in the Soviet Union. I mean, and he just bought a $3 million house. So these are the people that are influencing the people that usually vote Democrat, that never have policies that help anybody besides the elite. I mean,
was it that Hassan something person?
Hassan Piker.
Yeah, I never heard of him until everybody was complaining about him buying a house, and he's supposed to be like some.
I've heard of him for
a
while. Yeah, he's an awful person, awful human being.
Yeah,
I don't even want to call him a human being.
That's crazy.
I mean, his uncle is the person who runs the Young Turks, which is some left-wing BS site. And that's how we became the prominence. It's just this whole debacle is just, I don't know. My only hope is the Haitians that do get in, they look at this, because I know that at some point they're going to be let in. There's already been one's been let in. I hope they go, look at this corruption. I don't want this corruption like back in my home country. Vote for the guy who's going to fix everything. Vote for Trump, or vote for Ron DeSantis. Vote for the people who are actually fixing things, the one who stand for freedom. I'm hoping that their kids grow up with this, because usually the immigrants' kids, they get everything handed to them. They send them playing their fucking Xboxes and all that shit, fucking off, getting into trouble because I got everything handed to, because my dad works 80 hours a week. He's not around. They get everything handed to them, go to college, and become another damn left-wing guy. Advocate, want everything handed to them because they grew up that way.
And that's unfortunate, because it used to be, immigrants, came to this country, they worked extremely hard to get, where they got, and they almost instilled those values in their kids. They used to instill those things in their children. Now it seems like once those kids get out of the house and they do get to go to college, they get indoctrinated, they start kind of seeing the Western way. And I know, they kind of fall off that path. I think it's odd, 'cause I was talking about how many Asian women I've seen started to complain and be on that whole woke ass shit. When it used to be say, Asians were always the hardest working, quietest people. They didn't get involved in political shit. They didn't get involved in none of these agendas, and they were by and large more successful demographic than the rest of everybody else. But now you're starting to see more and more of the women, I can't say the men as much, start to get involved in a lot of the left-wing lunacy. And I wonder how their parents feel about that. I wonder how, the old school Asians feel about some of these newer ones getting caught up in the nonsense.
Well, I mean, over in the UK, there's one woman that works for the BBC. She works about 3 days a week, put out just anti-white articles, anti-colonialism, even though she wants all these Middle Eastern immigrants that go over there and do mass rapes and mass grooming for all these Muslim countries. and she makes more than a BBC head if she were to work a 5-day work week.
Mm.
And she's her official title is diversity official or something. She's diversity like VP something other, but her thing is just literally woke nonsense, woke bullshit, and she gets paid. And I'm thinking half these parents, if they get their kids getting these high paid government jobs that do nothing but they get paid, their parents don't care because they're getting everything paid for, and they're like, "Oh, look how well my son's doing. America is truly great," but they don't realize what their kid's doing because they still working 80 hours a week to keep their house. These kids only give them so much.
All right, hold on one second, Mr. Travis. I'm confused about two things. I'm kind of confused, Miss Diana, as to what you're saying in your comments. A lot going on. It says this man trying to start a war against slavery. Black people come from who put them there. What's really going on? Want to come to America? They love their country. Did you guys trying to turn slavery back? I am confused. Exactly what's kind of. I think there's a couple of points going on trying to be made there. And then Heidi has a question. She says, "Which state has a massive budget surplus, Texas or California?"
I think that would be Texas. I could be wrong, but actually, no. If you think about it, it could be California because Biden did, or the federal government, which is the Biden whatever association that runs everything, they gave COVID relief to states like California and everything that kept the mask mandates and everything going when every other state stopped it. So I think California actually does have a budget surplus thanks to the wonderful taxpayers of the states that opened up.
How do you feel about military transgender, or I guess what do you call it? Transitioning surgery. How do you feel about the military supporting that?
I didn't know we were allowed to support mental delusions. My thing is, I'm a libertarian. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. If you want to be a transgender, go fucking be a transgender. Don't have the government pay for it, though. Go do it yourself. If you're going to have the government pay for it, then you're not serving because you're going to be weakened. You're physically and mentally going to be weakened. What's the transgender suicide rate? Up to like 45% now?
Yeah. But that's our fault. We make fun of them.
Excuse me? I couldn't hear you.
I said, but that's our fault because apparently we make fun of them, so we're to blame for that. We don't accept them, so we make them do it. That's what
I was told this growing up. Toughen up, buttercup. I don't give a fuck. I got called retard strength in college. I didn't give a fuck. I just ran over people. Fucking 220-pound nose guards running over an All-American. I didn't give two shits at what they called me. I went out there and did what I did. That's how these people need it. But we don't have that anymore. And this transgender, everything's got to play to the most suppressed, this and that. I don't give two shits. Don't have my money go to something I don't care for. Let my money go to the roads. Let my money go to what I see is needed.
Yes, they can send my money to 45 because they need to figure out why there's always fucking traffic on fucking 45 every time I hit that motherfucker. No matter what time of damn day, it's always some damn traffic. I will vote for whatever candidate can fix that solution in Houston.
Oh yeah, thanks. Hey, that's government bureaucracy. You know what I say? I said we do two things to fix all this bullshit. First, no lifetime politicians. You got 12 years in the Senate and the House. Not either or. You can't go 12 and 12. It's 12 years total. So if you want to be in the House, you're in there for either 12 years or however long you want to serve, and you switch over for the remainder. And you get the 2 terms as president, and that's it. No more lifetime politicians. That will fix up a lot of the fucking bullshit right there.
I can agree with that. I am definitely not a fan of being able to stay a politician forever.
Yeah, next, we allow the people to vote on whatever, like, if the government's going to spend something, let the people vote on it. If his company going to do roads, and if the company does fucking bad, the people will quit fucking getting that company after a year. They'll like, oh, no, we're going to this one. So they're going to be forced to do a good job. No more like, oh, we give you a budget. Oh, you exceed the budget? Well, wait till next year. Nah, you get this budget, you get this time frame. If you don't do it, we're moving on to someone else.
Yeah, I agree.
You either do the fucking job or you don't. I mean, I'm sorry to be cursing so much, but I'm just a little angry with everything going on.
Yeah, if you got hate in your heart, let it out. No, I mean, I feel you know, it's like, because I mean, it has to be obvious that there's a lot of waste going on in this country that could be better benefited to those who truly need it. I mean, I think people should be given preferential treatment on the basis of like what they've done for this country or for others. You have a lot of military veterans who are in need of. These people should be getting actual help, therapy, housing, whatever it may be, as opposed to the money that you're wasting on transitioning surgery for people who are not going to contribute anything to the military or to society as a whole. I mean, there has to be better ways to use these funds to somebody that can actually benefit.
There's got to be better. Or even our military pays taxes. My brother's in the Air Force right now. Hopefully nobody comes after me and my family because they're, stooping in and some shit and try to, cancel or dox us. But he's in the military. He's Air Force. He does, I don't know, some type of engineering or percentage of something and whatnot. That's all I can leave out. But he's in Italy. He's making money, really good money too, because it's a really technical job that needs a lot of fine precision, whatnot. I'm not like him. I don't have the brains. I have the bronze. But he's sitting there. He's getting fucking taxed. He's in the military, serving the country, and yet he still has to pay taxes. So the people are funding him to go and do this stuff, and then he's got to pay a portion of the funds that were get paid by people back to the government. That's fucking stupid. That's military spending. That's government spending, and he's getting taxed by the government to pay the government.
That's kind of janky.
It's just I don't fucking know what's going on. I mean, and you talk about we need to help those that actually need it. Yes, we do. I mean, do you know how many veterans commit suicide a day because all the bullshit that goes on, all the alcoholism, all the drug addictions, all the shit, but yet we want to focus on transgenders. Motherfucker, we would save more lives because half the transgenders are still going to kill themselves.
So if there's wasted money, I mean, like if you help them transition, they end up like offing themselves. It's like money down the drain.
Yeah, that sounds a lot like what the government does almost every other single day. The money constantly going down the fucking drain, doing nothing. I mean, what else was it? Oh yeah, America may default on its debt this year, and that's in several weeks. Which means the government will shut down for a few weeks or a couple weeks. This will be the first time in history, unless they're able to make a deal to raise the spending, so they get to continue to spend more. America may actually default in the first time in its history.
That's not winner. All right, man. Up, I see you, man. Okay. There's a question, Mr. Travis.
Go ahead.
Mr. John, my favorite New Yorker, would like to know if you say the N-word when you rap songs.
Could you repeat that? I'm sorry, a little crackly.
It says, do you say the N-word when you're singing rap songs?
Sometimes, I'm not going to lie. Okay. And that's depending. I mean, I've said it in front of some of my friends before that were of black color. I mean, I said that I'm singing a song. They understand that they didn't. It depends on the person. Honestly, I grew up with the word and have a completely different meaning than what the modern context is. I was taught that the N-word is for people that are dirty, do nothing for society, and I mean, there's white N-words, there's black, there's Mexican, there's Asian, there's people that don't do shit, and that's what we consider the N-word when I was growing up. Because I mean, I've met countless black people, Asian people and white people that were dirty, but I've also met countless that were clean, benefit society, and did a lot for the families. Hell, one of my best friends growing up in the cattle industry, he was was it mixed mute, big bright blue eyes, light skin, wonderful person. One of the best people you ever. He's kind. I mean, just super nice. I mean, he did wonder. I mean, I still couldn't fucking beat him in showing, which pissed me off. But I had a lot of respect for him because he went out there and he worked his ass off. And all during this time, we saw his mom and his dad having marital issues. So my mom kind of stepped in and just helped him out a little bit here and there. He didn't have food to eat at some stock show, so she went out and bought him food to make sure he would be able to eat and everything. Because you're out there with maybe like 3 or 4 hours of sleep for 12 hours, just constantly working and everything. I mean, but he
could you explain
turned around
what goes into a showing? Because I don't understand. I'm sure there may be some people here who might know, but I'm not quite familiar. Like, could you kind of explain it to those of us who may be less familiar?
Oh yeah, so stock shows, cattle. I did pigs and cattle. My sister did goats. But they're going out. You're showing a couple different types. You got commercial. You got beef show. I mean, it's all beef show, but you got commercial, and then you got regular. Imagine dog shows, but on a larger scale and not as many tricks. You go out there, you show them, you get them in the proper stance. You go in front of a judge. You get the best one wins. So you're at the home. You're training them. You're feeding them properly. You got to maintain them. Some of them get AC. Some of these animals live better than most people that I know. They're always kept clean 24/7. They get washed. Some of them get washed almost daily. They get high quality. Shit. They are treated wonderfully. Just look up a beef stock show or beef cattle show. I mean, what was it in Houston, 2001? What was it? The highest selling steer was 621,000.
What? And how long does it take to raise one of these animals?
It depends. You got show heifers, show bulls, and show steers. Show heifers and cows. Those are females. Heifers are ones that have not reproduced. Cows are ones that have reproduced. Usually, you go to 30 months with those. Mm-hmm. Show bulls, you got young, and then you go up to I think 5 or 6 years. Mm-hmm. And some of them get very large, up to 3,000 pounds, but some of them could be gentle as can be. Some of them are dog gentle, will never hurt a fly.
How much does it cost to feed one of these motherfuckers? A month?
Depends on the feed. It really does. Some of the feed's cheap and it's $5 a bag, but it still could be good stuff depending on where you get it from. Mm. Some of these feeds can be upwards of $20 a bag, and they're 50-pound bags, and some of them can go through feed half a bag to a bag a day, depending on it. So you're spending quite a bit of money. Yeah. I know I spent a lot of time. I got a lot of scholarships out of it. I did all the calf scrambles, but I mean, this conversation derailed from N-word to stock shows. I mean, that's funny. But,
this is definitely a den conversation because, it can go anywhere. You never know where you might start in one place, you might end up somewhere else, kind of like an immigrant. But, I'm just curious because, that's the beauty of the den is that we have so many people in here from diverse backgrounds that, may be familiar with certain things that the majority of us may not. And so when we have the opportunity to kind of inquire, I like to inquire of those things so that way, at least people walk away informed of something that they may not have known, prior to entering the den.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I like that. That's what I like about the den a lot is because you get to learn new things every day or hear different opinions from different backgrounds. But a common among the stock show is you bring, as far as I know, from my perspective and my experience, is that my meaning of the N-word is the same among a lot of people that I know in the stock show. You got clean people and you got dirty people. Doesn't matter your race, doesn't matter your ethnicity, where you come from. If you're clean, you're clean. You're dirty, you're dirty. If you do something, awesome. If you do nothing, get the fuck out of here. We don't want you.
Yeah, I agree. You have to contribute back to society. I mean, that's the only way that society can grow. That's the only way that everybody benefits is if everybody contributes. If you have somebody who is taking and not, putting back to the pile or putting back to the benefit of others, then, eventually you get too much of that, things start to deteriorate. And I think that's kind of where we're going now in society.
Yeah, I mean, look at all the issues. You have all these people that grow up and then they graduate high school, and then they move off to college, and then after college they move somewhere else, some other different state, instead of come back to community and building up, or graduating out of high school, going to get a trade job and building up in their community to keep the community going strong. Now everybody wants to live in the city or live here or live there and away from the community they grew up in. I mean, there's no community building anymore in our society.
That brings up a very interesting question I got for you, okay? Because this is something we've talked about often in the den, right? And especially, me being a black man, this is something we've talked about in a lot of the black communities in cities, inner cities, things like that. Where you have people who may not be doing so hot, but then you have from time to time people who do very well for themselves and they leave. And people complain about, well, these people should come back and give back. But if these communities were, let's say, detrimental to their existence, you got a lot of crime and people who do well, may be more likely to become a target or a victim of some type of crime. Do you think that those type of people should go back, or should they, maybe move on to a better environment where they can benefit from their new set of skills?
That's a tough predicament. In my opinion, go back and try to help the community. But that's in my opinion, that's what my beliefs are. You build up what you can. It's going to be hard. There's going to be a lot of fucking bumps along the road. And it's going to be look like a losing battle. But all it takes is that one person to do something, and it could spark a massive sweep across the area. I mean, how many times have you seen some of these athletes go back and help their communities that they grew up from because they grew up in poverty? And but most of those times most of those athletes I mentioned never get the news coverage because if they do, they get like a minor segment. Oh, look what he did! That's wonderful. And then they go back to showing like, oh, there's 15 people killed in Chicago.
But do you think that athletes are really contributing? Because a lot of time, I see like shoe drives and they're giving things away. But do athletes really possess a skill set that they can use to try to encourage others to benefit from? Would you call that a trade? I mean, they can hoop or they can play football, but the odds of getting paid doing it, well, I guess it's a little bit more now that they're paying collegiate athletes, but the odds of you getting paid from that are kind of slim. You know what I mean? So is that maybe the most beneficial people to kind of to base it on, or do you think maybe there has to be another group, or do you think people might not listen because those other groups aren't as glamorous as the athlete or the rapper or entertainer of some sort?
They have the ability to learn to do it, but most of the time they don't do it in the right way. Two examples I'm going to bring up, and a way they did it right is Pop Smoke. And he went back and he sat there and he started up all these stores, barbershop, clothing store, furniture, cell phone. He started up all these stores, provided jobs to a bunch of people, and helped the community start to build back up. Even if he didn't like Trump, even if he didn't like the Republic, he still did something right. I mean, and you think somebody that's going to be voting left is going to be bad? No, I don't. Like, that's just a coincidence that he didn't like Trump. But he built up his community in the proper way from selling his albums. He opened up stores. He opened up businesses for people to work at and go to be able to have all these decent things given to them while paying for a service. The other person I'm going to bring up is Shaq. Shaq, he's big-time athlete, NBA. I mean, he has fucking countless stories because of all the ads he does. He owns stock in the General, Papa John's, some shoes. I mean, he's not building up his community per se, but he's building up a community of people. He's owning all these stores, opening up franchises here and there. He's making tons of money, but he's doing it in a way that also benefits other people. And that's the thing these athletes need to do is if they want to continue to make money, because most of these athletes, by the time they're done, they're retired, they become broke within the next couple of years because they don't know how to spend their money properly, and that can lead back into the communities themselves because they're never given this opportunity to have this much money or make smart financial decisions. And that goes back to the schooling, and that goes back to the federal government because they want these people all to be dumb and ignorant and not know anything. That's why taxes and finances aren't taught in high school, even though they should be. Because these people end up getting all this large amount of money and don't know what to do with it, spend it all, and then they're broke again. I mean, hell, O.J. Simpson wasn't convicted of his murder trial, but he turned around and he tried to steal back one of his trophies, and then they convicted him there and gave him the years.
That's crazy.
He was broke, and because he wanted to steal back a trophy after he sold it, and because he didn't know how to handle the financial gains that came with being an NFL star.
Yeah.
So these athletes have the ability and opportunity to do it, but they don't do it in the right way because they were never taught to. So it takes one smart individual to build the community. And it's going to be an ever-circling effect of people becoming smart, building their community, doing something for it, and bringing up the community slowly but surely. Okay. I know it's kind of divulged from what you asked, but, I mean, my answer is going to be they have the ability to do it, but they just need to be taught how to do it properly.
Okay. Piggybacking off that, John, that's a very good point. And shout out to Sean, shout out to Jay Lamel, shout out to Josh and Wanda. What about Bill Cosby?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not too familiar with Bill Cosby. All I know is that he was they had a few comedy specials, put in pop, and the rape charges. I'm a little younger. I'm only 22. I'm a little younger for with the big dealing with Bill Cosby.
The Cosby crowd. Okay. Well, Cosby was a guy, and he put out a lot of positive messages. You know, he spoke on a lot of things that he thought would be beneficial for communities, especially communities of color. You know, changing certain behaviors to not glorify such negative things that have caused detriment within those communities, and that made those people viewed as negative aspects of society. Bill Cosby, as much as he was liked by people, was lambasted, was vilified for the things that he said, and people were not happy about it. They were just like, stick to your Jell-O pudding, asshole. Even though he was, really saying a lot of good stuff. Now, it came out later that he had a propensity to get a little devious with the sexual nature, but that's a whole nother story. But at one point, he did try to be a solid member of society and try to, help others who may not have been as fortunate by providing good direction and advice.
Okay. I mean, this kind of goes back to the celebrity question you had a few nights ago. I watched some of that, and the celebrities do have the ability to do good. They do have the ability to spread messages. To me, it's dependent on those messages that they are going to send around. If it's going to be about oppression and all this, fuck that shit. Shut the fuck up and go back to doing whatever the fuck you do. But if you look at another celebrity like Jordan Peterson, he spreads a positive message. I mean, hell, he was considered evil Nazi because he told people to go clean up your room, take personal responsibility. And so now he's selling merch that says Hell Lobster because he made a comparison in the Marvel comments that he was like Hydra because he told people to clean his room. And then, Captain America attacked a dad for telling his son to be responsible. And, yeah, so we are now to a point where being responsible is being compared to Nazis.
That makes sense.
So, yeah, I mean, what was it? I can't remember. I think it was some popular quote. Tom Clancy. He didn't come up with the quote, but he perfected the quote. The hardest thing about writing fiction is it has to make sense. Reality doesn't have to make sense. It's just reality. It happened. It's real. Fiction is hard to write because you have to make it make sense. I guess not anymore. Fiction must be the easiest shit to write now. But you got celebrities like Jordan Peterson, like Tucker Carlson, like Steven Crowder, like Nicki Minaj. Recently, Nicki Minaj. Even a little bit, she said, I don't let my child listen to my music. And now do your own research. Get some information, then you can make the choice yourself. they're telling people to take responsibility, and that's a message I can approve. And that's where my conclusion comes to. It's a message that's positive. It's not even political, just positive for the individual. Then you can spread it. But usually what happens is you got all these pedo left-wing Hollywood motherfuckers going around, and it's like, oh, no, this is okay. No, that is okay, even though it's inherently bad or inherently evil and yeah. So I can't even fucking speak right now. I'm just angry.
Shout out to Big B. I appreciate it becoming a member. Man, I got one more thing for you. And John's been having some pretty good questions here. John asked, he said you used to play football. He was curious what your 40 time was.
Ooh, back in high school, I got to 4.7, but I was also 185. My 40 time during college was probably 4.85 at 225. But I didn't care about 40 times. I cared about my explosion and acceleration off the line. My numbers when I threw up on clean and squat and everything my squat was 475. My clean and jerk was 320. My clean was 340. Almost hit 350. I just missed it by a hair. Bench was 345, 350. I have my explosion powers where I was mainly prioritized with. 40 was whatever. I could give two shits about 40. But if I could get off the line faster than the center, that's where my money making was. That's where I made all that bank. Fuck, I mean, I pushed the All-American on his heels after he talked a lot of shit to me. He looked at me and said, oh, this guy's so fucking small. And then next play, he's on his fucking heels getting his running back tackled for a 2-yard loss. He shut the fuck up real quick. But you know what made that all happen? Personal responsibility that I've taken in my life.
So, and again, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, but the fight in the dog. That's a very true statement. So, what would you say is in your sports career? What was it? Or was that it? What was your most memorable moment, or I guess memorable moment is a terrible way to put it, or experience in your career?
That's gonna be. I'm trying to think. My most memorable. It's got to be my senior year of high school. We sit there and we're going for it. We won all our district games, and we're on our last one against Brenham. We sit there and we won, but we got 27 or 28-21. One touchdown won us the game. And it's just that memorable moment because I'm sitting there. I have to play end and nose guard. I'm in there constantly trying to bust my ass, and the end of the conference because we didn't have it since what's it, 08, and this was 2016. So 8 years later, we finally bring it back home, and then we go to the playoffs again in the second round. Still get our ass kicked in the second round.
Second round.
Like if you make it to the third round, you're hot shit. Second round, you're decent, but third round, you're hot shit. So, we weren't the hottest shit. Yeah. But that's got to be my most memorable because, we were part of a team that was bringing back a winning culture to the school that hasn't had it in years. We were the team. Not only that, I sat there and we had some Mexican who was on varsity 3 years in a row. I just started playing my senior year. Because the coaches didn't know where to put me because I was just undersized. Turn around and get second team behind 2 5-star recruits. One went to A&M, I think one went to Baylor. And he only got honorable mention when the year before he got first team. Yeah. So he was pissed off, and that made my day. Just look at him like, oh, so sorry. I win this. Fuck you. That's probably like that, but that's my most memorable. The second most memorable is when I tore my ACL, because that means I'm fucked. No more football for me.
Yeah. Oh, that's terrible. That's very unfortunate. Yeah, those knee injuries are devastating. Now things have changed, I guess, a little bit more recently, but I remember I'm an old dog. A knee injury was like your career was all the way over. It's just when you're a pro now, they can fix that shit like in 2 days. Motherfucker be back tomorrow. You're a superhuman like Adrian Peterson or something. But
Yeah.
So okay. Any other thoughts there, Mr. Travis? I mean, we've covered a variety of things in this phone call. I've learned a little bit about showing cattle. You know what I mean? So I think that's pretty cool. I'm really curious about this feed, but I'll save that for another time. Anything else that you would like to speak on?
No, I just called in about my ideas on everything, but we spent a good amount of time talking about a variety of different topics, which was very enjoyable, but also raised my blood pressure properly, just making me angry. But no, I'm still young. I'll be fine in the long run. But I'm glad you can have me on again. I always try to be the educated one, and maybe not the realist, but at least down to earth.
So do you still have any like issues with your knee? Does it still bother you or anything?
Sorry, could you repeat that? Phone broke up again.
I said, do you still have any like knee issues? Does it like bother you from time to time, or have you like kind of bounced back from it?
Oh yeah, no, I had the surgery June 2nd. I got tore it my senior year in my first game. So,
check out. There's a dude I've been following. I don't know if you've ever heard of. If you're on the gram, check out Knees Over Toes guy. It's very interesting. It might be something that you can benefit from. A lot of people have had some good feedback on that.
Okay. I mean, my solution was just to go back to working out, which I just started back in today, and just going back to throwing weights and doing a couple lunges and everything else that comes with working knees and hamstring out. Because they took my hamstring. Instead of taking the pectoral tendon, they took my inner hamstring and replaced my ACL with it.
Mm.
The surgeon said it was the thickest damn hamstring he's ever seen. So, I mean, that's a good sign for me.
Mm. That's very interesting. I didn't know you could do that.
But yeah, there actually is another operation I could have done where they would take a part of my quad muscle and replace it as my ACL. But I didn't do that one because I like my quads; they're nice and thick.
Okay.
But yeah, so I have to go check him out then. Maybe I can learn a couple things and get stronger.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely might help you out there. If you have any issues, if you're doing all right, then you might not need it.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm glad to still call on. Like I said, I mean, I'm doing as well as I can. I start working next Monday,
Okay.
which is you finally got a job. Woo woo.
Okay. Congratulations on
Let's
that.
just hope they don't see this.
No, they won't. Nobody watches it then. It's only us, like a couple of people in here.
But no, everything's good. I mean, like I said, I could talk about things, spread what I know, hear different opinions, get to answer some questions, talk about just life in general. And this is what the den's about.
Absolutely. 100% agree. All right. Well, Mr. Travis, man, I appreciate you calling and sharing your thoughts with us this evening. Again, good talking to you again.
No problem. Thank you for having me on.
All right, so you have a good evening.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Look. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this evening?
It's Quez, man. I just want to say that, first off, I just want to say for the background picture, dude, I don't know if you're looking close enough, but it looked like the dude is smiling. Like,
Yeah,
out of this bitch, bro. Like, I finally got in this bitch.
Yeah, I noticed that. It was just like shit. I thought that was very interesting. And the nigga on the horse snatched him up like a bad kid and shit. But that was a very, very odd behavior.
Man, but I'm going to go ahead and get straight to the point, bro. For anybody, like dude said, for reaching back and shit, man, I done seen plenty of celebrities try to reach back. Take Cat Williams, for example. I don't know if you guys saw when this dude, a 7th grader, actually whooped his ass.
Yeah.
It was it was at the end of the video where he was saying that this is exactly why celebrities don't come back to the hood. Because it always be a hating motherfucker that always want to do some fuck shit. Like, I'm just to the point, bro. Like, if I was in their position, I'd say fuck them too. Like, shit, motherfuckers is gunning for you. Like, why the fuck would I come back to some shit where I know motherfuckers gonna be hating on me?
Yeah. I mean,
It's just like, bro, you walking around with a target on your back, pretty much saying rob me, pretty much. Like, bro, it's like, I understand you want to reach back for your community and shit. You feel sad that this shit dying. Like, my city dying at the same time, bro. But nah, if I had it my way, fuck that shit. I'm gone, bro. I done got mine. Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Besides, well, I don't know, because I'm black. It's just like, it seems like most black people, they stubborn any goddamn way, so they ain't trying to hear what the fuck you got to say. If you're trying to drop some gems on them, like, my friend got a podcast right now. He dropped gems about every goddamn thing, from business to relationships, all that shit. And nobody tries to listen to this shit. I share this shit every goddamn day. Don't nobody listen to this shit for real. I'm just like, bro, if you just listen, like, just listen. That's the problem with most black people, bro. They don't want to listen.
No, I agree. And the thing about it is, too, what happens is, and especially with the people that, you know, who know you personally, you know, especially if you're doing something, especially in the creative realm, they won't listen. They don't necessarily support, but then let you get the numbers up and things start kind of looking like something. Then they all come back and, oh, I know this guy. I've been knowing this guy since such and such. But those are people who didn't, you know, rock with you in the beginning.
Yeah, I don't be liking that shit. I don't like that foo shit. And then, man, like, I don't know if you guys, like, you saw in the comments the other night, man, I told everybody, like, Kanye West actually followed me on Instagram and shit. So I had people that was actually hitting me up I ain't talked to in years saying, bro, can I get a shout out? Can you follow me back? Can you tell a dude to follow me back? I'm just like, bro, ain't no fucking way. Get the fuck out of here.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's some crazy shit. Yeah.
But, like, if you talking about, like, immigration and everything, like, I feel bad, like, for all this shit going down, bro. But I'm just like, damn, at the same time, you made a good ass point, bro. These people coming in the goddamn country and they taking our jobs and our situation pretty much, bro. They just like, damn. Like, I don't really like that shit. Like, it's hard to see somebody struggling and want to come over here. They really just dying over to come over here. But at the same time, I'm just like, fuck that. Y'all, I'm kind of mad Trump ain't built that goddamn wall. When you think about it, bro. Like, fuck all that.
Well, but at the same time, kind of like you mentioned, though, do you think, I mean, and it's like, when you say taking a job, like, do you think, though, are they really taking their jobs? And you kind of look at it like, well, niggas, are they taking American jobs? Or are they taking...
They're taking everybody's jobs in general. Like, I don't really discriminate when it comes to jobs, bro. A job is a job, and you still got to make money to survive in this country. Like, bro, you coming over this bitch, man, you ain't got to worry about for so much shit. Like you said, bro, they're going to pretty much give you what the fuck you need. Like, you just came over here, like, in the first few years in America. You come over here, we're going to give you all this shit and that shit. You ain't got to worry about shit for the next couple of years, right? So I'm just like, fuck all that. I'm over here struggling and shit. They're going to treat the next person better than me. And I've been over this bitch for years. Fuck that.
And how do you have something to do with Mexican manners? Is there like a different thing from American manners? How does that work? I don't know what that means. But yeah, like I say, it's a situation though. But I look at it both ways because, and this is why I say that there has to be a procedure and a level of appreciation. Because those immigrants who have come to this country, who kind of follow protocol, they tend to have success, right? Because they know the advantages of being here. And I'm not saying those who, quote unquote, migrated illegally or kind of shirked the system are hard workers. Because I've known plenty.
Like, I actually graduated with a person that actually emigrated over to America and everything. Mm-hmm. So, dude came over here and he ain't know shit about America. Came in here looking awkward as fuck on the first day of school and shit. By the time we graduated, this dude is one of the most popular motherfuckers over there. Got glasses, got a car, got all the jewelry and shit. I'm just like, bro, what the fuck happened? Like, it won't just long ago. This motherfucker was struggling, but he was struggling just like me. Now this motherfucker ahead of me. Like, what the fuck?
Do you think that has something to do with his family, or do you think that was him and the work that he put in?
Dude ain't working, bro. I know damn for damn sure, dude ain't working, bro.
Mm.
dude played sports and was fucking every bitch that came his goddamn way, bro. I'm surprised the dude ain't got no damn kids. I started running to this dude there once in a while. I'm just like, bro, you ain't got no kids yet, bro. You fucking all these bitches. Excuse me, females in the chat, man. I ain't trying to be disrespectful or nothing, but yeah. Oh yeah, I just want to say, how you doing, Heidi? Your crazy ass always in these chats and shit. You a real OG for fucking with my dude, bro.
I don't know about Heidi.
Heidi's cool, man. I don't like if I fuck with you, I fuck with you.
No, Heidi's cool, but that twerk is terrible. It's awful. It's one of the worst in the record books. But you said your partner had a podcast. What was the name of it?
It's called Man Shut Up.
Man Shut Up?
Yeah, Man Shut Up. It's on Spotify, everywhere you can get a podcast. Everything. Okay. Like for real, he already in season 2. He ready to be at the end of season 2. Like if you just go back, man, he dropping gems. Like he just gotta read in between the lines. Like he just can't give it spoon feed it to you. Just read between the lines.
Okay. I'm gonna check it out.
He just dropped another episode on this morning, man. It's called Kings Know Your Words.
Okay.
Like for real, bro. I can't really say too much because it's more of a man's podcast, but just check it out, man. I guarantee you'll fuck with it.
All right, that's a bit. Is it on some like kind of like red pill type stuff or?
No. It's barbershop talk, bro.
Okay.
It's barbershop. Yeah, man-to-man barbershop talk.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a bet. I'll definitely check it out, man. I'll definitely check it out. All right. You got anything else that's on your mind there, sir?
Nah, that's all I had on my mind, man. But shoot, hey yo, I don't know if 17 up in here, man, but hit me up, bro. I read the comments of what you said when I first got up in this bitch, bro. We gotta talk, my guy. We gotta talk. I got a bone to pick with you, my guy.
Okay. That's a BET.
That's all I gotta say, man.
Right.
To everybody, peace, love, and blessings. Have a good night, man.
All right, appreciate the call, Chris.
No problem.
Okay, 17. The lovely Miss Craig Grace joining us this evening. How are you doing, ma'am? Travis, you are you Killer 93 winner? Okay. We played I want to say, was it Mickey Man Chat Kush? And then we played GTA a long time ago. Like one of the very few times I ever played GTA online. I want to say we played once. I want to say, but it's been, I think I played online like twice. Okay. Like I said, I need to get back. I need to finish up Hitman. I don't know when. I might need to get on it tonight and just finish it. Twitch up to Hitman. Excuse me. But hold up. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this evening?
Oh wow, I'm surprised. This is Sean. I got like an immediate answer. Normally it's like I'm on hold. I'm like I'm on the back burner. I'm everywhere but Front Street.
Okay. Well, it's good to hear. I'm glad that you ain't have to wait. And so, what's on your mind this evening, Sean?
Well, I don't know. I'm looking at. I got a couple things. I'm looking at your, this Haiti situation. But before I do that, I said I got to call Honcho early. I got to fuck with him real quick because y'all be up too late. I got to get my beauty rest. I got to get my beauty rest with all this madness.
Yes,
but I'm actually sitting up here watching the history. Well, first of all, the immigration thing. I mean, that thing is like, America's going to have to come to a head with its inequities and this disparaged treatment of Haiti. I don't think a lot of people really know the history, but they do this like all the time. I think the difference is, people like a little bit more educated and they see the differences, so they're not going to be able to get away with this too long. But I think people need to understand. I would encourage everybody to just really look at the history of Haiti. And it's actually a little bit ironic because the United States actually occupied Haiti for 20 years. Just like they, almost the exact amount of time, just like they occupied Afghanistan. Yeah, that's the history. And then when they left, they came with a treaty, and they went and took all of their money and gold out of the reserves and took it to New York for safekeeping. So, and that was a part of the treaty, and they did the occupation under the guise of preventing anarchy. And they were trying to protect Haiti from Germany. You know, they already dealt with France. And we don't even want to talk about the French part, because the French actually reversed after they won their independence and charged them reparations. You know, so this doesn't even have to do with the United States. So France dogged them out. Then U.S. occupied them for 20 years, and we kind of dogged them out, took all their reserves like they couldn't take care of their money, and we stacked it and parked it in New York and Wall Street. And then we entered into a treaty with them, and we basically been dogging them out ever since.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would really take the time, be objective, and look at their history and look at what's been done to them. And once you understand that, see, because a lot of people are kind of relating on us not understanding history. And once you understand that, fast forward that to 2021. And then what you see at this border under, you know, this Texas bridge, then you'll really understand. But whatever's going on that Texas bridge, from what I understand, that's the only point of entry where they're actually enforcing what they call Title 42. Title 42 is the immigration law that Trump put in office, that everybody hooped and hollered and said, this is not a good rule. This is inhumane. This is this, this is that. So Title 42 is a special law outside of the main law. The main law says, constitutionally, it doesn't matter. You have a right to seek asylum. But when Trump got in office, Trump put in a subsequent provision that's in the courts now. One judge ruled against it, but Biden appealed it to be reinforced. So now here's the trick. Title 42 was unconstitutional, and everybody hooped and hollered. When, I think it was about like 3 months ago, it wasn't that long, we have short memories. We had all these migrants from Mexico come in. Remember, the kids, kids been in the cages, the deportation, everything is inhumane and all of this stuff, right? So that was under Trump. So Biden got in office, and what he did, all of those people were in holding, getting ready for what you call asylum, getting ready to be processed and vetted for citizenship. So they basically said that, Trump was the monster, and we're not going to deal with things like that. And so this is why we're going to allow these citizens in while they're processing and absorb them into citizenship. That's why you started to see in the news, okay, what they did with these people, they didn't enforce Title 42. They absorbed them. Right now, I think they sent a whole bunch of them in Dallas, Texas, in a stadium. They had them there. They had them in a certain, what they call refugee reception center. But eventually they got bused throughout the United States and in hotels. You guys know that, right?
I heard something about the motels.
Yeah, they've all got sent to hotels. And the current bill is $10 million. We're paying $10 million a month for those migrants. So they can, and we hired extra teachers. So they're all in school. They're all being educated and getting medicals and everything. So that's how we handled that, because at that time, and what Biden did, he reduced or relaxed the laws, and he didn't enforce them because it was the big bad law from Trump. Now, fast forward, we've got Haitians at the border who are black people. So now what Biden did, suddenly, he wants to enforce Title 42. So he had a choice. Title 42, he did not enforce it for the Mexican immigrants, but now they're enforcing it for the Haitian immigrants. That's why it's looking real bad for Biden. Now, let me tell you what the difference is. So the law, Title, and a judge just not even 4 days ago said that Title 42 was unconstitutional. But Biden is appealing that. He's going to lose. I think he's going to lose. But so this is what they're doing. What Title 42 enables you to do is to deport immediately. Title 42 is a special provision that says you cannot. Trump did this. Now, he really should have just left Trump the fuck alone. And what he really should have did was just apply things equally. But Biden really fucked up, especially with black folks. So what he did was he did not apply Title 42 to Mexicans, but he applied Title 42 to black folks. Title 42 was a provision. That's the way Trump kept immigration under control. To his credit, because you do have to secure your borders, right?
I agree.
But the way that he did it was, okay, we got COVID. See, Title 42 is only enforceable because Trump said, look, we got a pandemic. We got this virus and all this stuff coming on. We cannot just accept people from everywhere. That was the law. And the law is still in place. So then they beat Trump up, and they ran on it to get winnings. Biden saying Trump was unconstitutional. So that's when Trump came in. Everybody's like, why is he letting all these people in? Because he was pandering to that law. And then what he did was, now, the process is that they're here. They're not citizens yet, but they're just being held here for what you call, quote unquote, processing. So everybody has a right. It's a law. It's in our Constitution. It's in our laws for processing and consideration for asylum. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get it. But the difference is they let them and allowed them in from processing, and because it was looking so bad, because they were accusing them of kids in the cages, and you remember all that shit.
Yeah.
So what they did was they just transport and absorb them into the community and put them in hotels so they wouldn't have the bad look. And Trump also had an additional policy where he basically said, okay, we're going to consider you for asylum into this country, but your ass just ain't going to do it here.
Yeah.
I think it was called the MMP. So the RMP, it's the Remain in Mexico.
I remember that.
So Trump handled immigration a little bit differently. And because he did that, I think we wouldn't even see or understand all of this stuff. But when Biden came in, he basically said, fuck Title 42 and fuck the Remain in Mexico policy. That's why you saw all the Mexican and people from south of the border came in. So, all right, cool. So this is what you do, new immigration. And he upgraded them, trying to look good. We taking the babies out of cages. They all up in hotels right here, right now. You and me are paying for that. It's $10 million a month. This don't got shit to do with the Afghans. We putting the Afghans in Airbnb. So y'all got to really know what's going on. So then, meantime, in between time, we're about 4 or 5 months later, right? Here come these black immigrants. these Haitians under this damn Texas bridge. All of a sudden, Biden says we are going to enforce Title 42 when a judge just struck them down. A judge just struck down, look it up, about 3 days ago, Title 42, and said you cannot deport people at the border seeking asylum. That would apply to Haitian folks. Biden went and appealed it. So right now it's in appeal. So what he did was he did not enforce Title 42 with the Mexicans. He could have did the same thing. We didn't have to put them in hotels. He could have sent them back. But he chose to enforce it with the black immigrants. That's what's not making him look good right now. Where we know that he had a choice, and he chose differently when it came to the Haitians. And he's going to pay dearly for that. Trust me.
Do you think that that black folks are going to look negatively upon us in the long run? Because we know how acclimated.
Not just black folks, white folks along.
Oh, you think so?
No, it's not even just black folks. It's I don't know if you've been looking at the chatter. You know, people who know the law. There's lawyers, senators. They know it's illegal. It's a human rights violation, and it's pure racism. Pure racism. There's no way you're going to be able to justify how you loosen the Title 40. What is it? Title 42. You don't enforce it with one group, but you enforce it with another. Come on now. It's hard to get away from that.
Yeah.
And then if Biden doesn't win his appeal, a federal judge already went against it. But see, Biden basically used the law for convenience. But what's so hypocritical, he was against the law. That's why he lowered the rules and slacked and softened the rules for the Mexicans in March and April. Because see, he ran on Trump's rules were all fucked up. They're no good. I'm against that. I'm going to let the Mexicans in, and we're going to put them in hotels. He just did that in March and April. Now all of a sudden, when the black people show up at the border, he's like, "Oh, I'm going to enforce Trump's law." Mind you, a judge just reversed it and said that the law was unconstitutional, and then he put it in appeal. You see the hypocrisy? So watch out for that. Really understand what they're really doing with that Title 42. It's the law. What can you do? Why did you do it? And did you have the right, or were you lawfully able to do it? He was lawfully able to do it back in March with the Spanish, but he didn't do it. He's also lawfully able to do it right now, and he chose to do it. But the reason why he's so suspicious is that he did it. Look it up. A judge just ruled against Title 42 about 4 days ago, 4 or 5 days ago. So a judge ruled against him, meaning he could have allowed the Haitians asylum, but he didn't do it. He appealed the ruling so he can have the power. So do you understand what's going on? So he exercised all this power when it came to the black immigrants, but that same Title 42 was in place. He didn't enforce it. So we got to understand what's going on here. And that's why it's an inequity. And see, the difference is it's going to be hard for America to get away with its injustices because just people are they're too smart now. They're reading. They understand history. That's why they don't want you to know anything about critical race theory. They don't want you to learn. They literally want you to be dumb and not understand the history. So that's on Haiti. I think they're going to pay for this big time. And I don't know if you guys are watching. I've been studying it all morning, all night, and doing the chatter. There's about 30,000 more Haitians coming to that same bridge. Yep.
Oh, shit.
Yep. Look it up. They're on their way. There's a whole nother group of them coming. So what you going to do with them? And it ain't gonna be a good look. Now this little situation with the horse and the whips, and I don't know. They say it's a rein and it's not a whip and it's this. I mean, that's just splitting hairs. Whatever the fuck it is, it don't look good. Whatever the fuck it is, you use it as a weapon. I don't give a fuck what you call it. Some people say, "Oh, it's not a whip. It's a rein, or it's some other kind of name that they're giving it." That's bullshit. It doesn't matter. The fact that you're using it in an abusive manner, I don't give a fuck what you call it. It's a weapon. You locking up black folks with cell phones in their hands and accusing them of having a weapon. So we're going to split hairs on whether it was a cell phone or whether it was my, maybe my hairbrush and I was just combing my hair. That's just white folks bullshit. So get ready for that and get ready for the other 30,000 that are still coming. They have no idea what they're going to do with them. And if they don't reverse, it's an appeal right now. America's going to look real bad when that next wave comes if they continue to disperse those black people. Because what they're looking at is that the 100,000, and actually they were doing 100,000 a month of the Mexicans have been in hotels. Now you got another, I think, 40, 50 to 100,000 Afghans coming in, and they're in Airbnbs. And then you see these black people, this is how you treat them, with horses and with whips. And a new video came out today where they were on a U.S. Coast Guard airplane being deported, I guess, back to Haiti. And they had all the men in either, it looks like it was zip ties or handcuffs. So they not only were whipping them, they cuffed them and put them in that plane. And I looked at it real good. It was questioned. I said, yeah, it looks like all the men are cuffed for some reason. And we don't know. So, Fox News put that out.
So I got a question. As far as all of these Haitians that are coming, how do you think that they are arriving here? Or how are they getting to that border?
They came from South America. They came from South America. They migrated. They've been migrating, trying to get in. They've been on a journey for years. I told you, you got to understand the history. Hey, they have been rejected for years. America has laid down their racism on there for years. So they got stuck. See, it's easy. So they're right there in the water. You can imagine the map. So they're actually very close to South America. So they started in at the very bottom of South America and migrated all the way through South America. Then you got to go to South Mexico. Then you got to get into the damn United States. So some of them, that's why they say they've been in Chile, Brazil. They've been sitting for years. This is not like, oh, I woke up yesterday and I, took a plane to Texas. Yeah. This is like a slow kind of migration process. So they've been migrating through time and they've been assimilating in all these different little countries all the way up. They've been in Chile. They've been in Brazil. They've been in Mexico. I'm sorry, not Mexico. Yeah, Mexico. With the hopes of ultimately getting to USA. But that's how long it took them on that route, because they didn't go into Florida. Because, sometimes some of them would go into, that's what you call the wet foot, dry foot policy. They would go across the waters into Florida. But they were being rejected for Florida. See, they would accept the Cubans, but they would not accept the Haitians. So the Haitians had to take a different and longer route. So they're coming from the tip. I'm talking about the bottom of South America. That means you got to go all the way up through Venezuela, just even get to damn Mexico. So that process, so they've actually lived and created communities along the way. That's how they got to Texas. They did not come across the water traditionally like you would think in a rickety boat to Florida. They migrated through South America, through Mexico, and now Texas. That's how they got there.
Okay. And so do you think it makes it even worse at the fact that they're, instead of just, kicking them back into Mexico or something like that, they're sending them, apparently they're flying them all the way back to Haiti?
Well, see, part of the problem is, here's where it's really getting not so good for America. There is nothing to go to. I listened to the interim prime minister or whatever, Haiti. He went and told America, he says, we don't have any food, we don't have any clothes, What are we going to do with this people? The people down there in Haiti, they still have not gotten aid from the earthquake, which was a 7.2 magnitude that happened less than 60 days ago. You guys got to think about this. They're like, we haven't even received our earthquake aid. Why are you sending all these people to a devastated country? There's nothing that we have to give them. And they are legally and lawfully, they're seeking asylum because that is U.S. law. It's the law. So we are actually breaking the law. The only reason why they're getting away with it, that's why I had to explain Title 42, is Trump put a special provision. So that's when Biden invoked Title 42. But it's not a good look for Biden because when the Mexicans were there, he didn't invoke Title 42. He absorbed them. That's why they were in your stadium in Dallas. Didn't they have a bunch of them in the stadium, football stadium there?
We don't count Dallas as Texas. That's Southern Oklahoma. We don't count Dallas in Texas.
Well, that's what they did. And then they absorbed them, and they sent them to different hotels. Catholic Charities helped them to get with host homes. They've been worked out. No problem. See, that's just not right. But I tell you, we got a lot of shit with us. But I'd love to learn. I just got finished watching the History Channel. And I'm gonna teach you all what I just learned.
Okay.
It's something called, and I definitely want to look. My husband right here, I want him to hear this shit too. It's something called, I learned, it's called a Shanghai City. And it's in, hold on a second. It's a Shanghai City in Oregon, United States. Yes, Oregon, in our city. It's not in China. They call it the Shanghai City, and they have a series of underground tunnels where what they would do back in the day, they needed a workforce labor in the maritime industry. When you say maritime, that means the water. That means people needed to get on boats for trade and commerce. And they would, from Oregon, the port of Oregon, they would do trips to China and, other countries. That's why it was called the Shanghai City. And what they would do is, it was back in those days, it was a 3-year trip, and they couldn't get labor. The reason why I'm telling this story, because I'm thinking about labor crisis. They say immigrants, Mexican and Hispanic. It's labor, it's political, and it's also labor, just like slave labor. It's all related. Look at what they used to do. They could not get people to go on the 3-year journey from Portland, Oregon to China. That's why they call them the Shanghai Tunnels. So what they would do when young men, it didn't even matter, men period, didn't matter statue with your position. You could work on a farm. You could be, a fancy person, a rich person, what we would call a middle-class person. When they would go into bars, they were in cahoots with the bar owners. And they would go into the bar, and I sat there and walked. They had this stuff all constructed and everything. They would go into the bars and get drunk. And they needed, in order for labor, in order to continue their commerce, there needed at least 1,500 a year. Men. They would get them drunk, and they had like a little trap door or a trap. Like they would be in the bar thinking they're having a good time. And once they get drunk, they'll drop them down like a little trap door. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, you down this whole tunnel called the Shanghai Tunnel, and they put your ass in the boat, and your ass is going to be working for 3 years for free, almost like slave labor. I was like, wow, it's some real raggedy shit that America got its hands into, and we gotta really come to grips with our past, and it is history. That's the history they don't want you to know. So I want everybody to look up those tunnels. And these wasn't black people. So I told my husband, luckily he don't drink. He ain't going nowhere. But if anybody, your husband drink, or your woman, I said, wow, they can implement this shit in 2021. They would literally take them out the bars, and they would spike something. They put them a Spanish fly or something up in there. They would drop these men down these tunnels like a trap chute. What do you call it? A chute.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, your ass is in a goddamn tunnel, and you on a ship going to China.
That's terrible.
Yes, isn't that amazing? I mean, it's not. It's intriguing to me because it's the truth. But I like, wow, you got to look at the past, and you can't just be out here all thinking everything's rosy and peachy. Because this is how people think, just for labor. And that wasn't even the slave.
I got a question for you, Miss Johnson. Someone asked, if the opportunity had arisen, would you sponsor or adopt a Haitian family?
Oh, most definitely. Oh, 100%. No problem. No problem. Listen, the reason why is that actually right here where I don't live there anymore, but my neighbors were from Haiti for many, many years where I used to live, and they were real cool, real cool, real quiet, real cool. Raised their kids. Used to play with my little girl. They were just very, very cool. I didn't have any problems with them, not at all. And then I did some research because I actually love the Dominican Republic. And there's I traveled to the Dominican, but there's a big, and that's really makes me sad because Dominicans hate Haitians. They don't like Haitians. And that's the whole big racist shit that France put on them. So I started to, and I'm like, wow, man, I really love the Dominican, but I love Haiti, too. I love Haitians. So I'm like, why is all this strife? I had to look into their history a little bit. And it was because France the whole island was in two sides. Spain took over one side and France took over the other. So France took over the black side, which is Haiti. And it all used to be black. It didn't used to be, and Spain took over the Dominican side. So if you look at the history, on the Spanish side, they treated their slaves a lot better, and they actually intermingled with their slaves more. That's why the Spanish people in Dominican, they're really slaves. They don't think that they are, but that's their history. So what happened was the white Spaniards cohabitated with the blacks on the Dominican side. That's what created the Dominicans. So if you look at the Dominicans, they look more like your average Spanish person because they were like raped more, basically. But it was a different type of relationship. But the French were vicious. The French didn't, there was two types of perceptions with slavery. Some perceptions was you breed them out. So they wanted to breed us. So in other words, the way that they re-upped their inventory is they just had more babies and children. So that's how you blended it out. So that's how the Dominican side got blended out, and it speaks Spanish. It's the same fucking island. So if you look at the fucking history, you'll be like, this is ridiculous. But on the right side of the island, Spain controlled. That's why they speak Spanish. On the left side of the island, French controlled. That's why the Haitians speak French. Actually, they speak French and Spanish. But on the left side, you had two different colonizers. So on the French side, the French didn't cohabitate or have babies with the Africans. If they wanted to work you to death, and they would rather just go back to Africa and bring more. They had a different philosophy. They didn't believe in like breeding as much. When you say breeding, that's when you have sex and you rape and you have interracial children. But all the people in Dominican, they're freaking Africans that's just been raped over and over. But in France didn't want it. They didn't like that. They would rather work you to death and let me just get some fresh new Africans. So slavery was more harsh on the French side than it was on the Spanish side. That's why the Dominicans have more an affinity for their slave masters. That's why they say they're not black. Where the black Haitians who were controlled by France have more of a resistance because they had to fight, and they actually won because they ran out Napoleon Bonaparte. They were so crazy. Napoleon Bonaparte, they won in resistance against a French major power and ran their asses out, ran Napoleon out of there. He couldn't win. And Haiti is suffering from that, from the other white colonizers, because it's the only nation in this whole entire global world that defeated a superpower. People don't know that. France, the only one, not even Africa did it to the colonizers. That one little country defeated France. That's why they got, and they're actually responsible for helping us get in Louisiana. We helped America become strong because Napoleon didn't want anything to do with us. Remember, France owned half of the United States. Why do you think the United States got, and I can't remember what the line is, it was Louisiana, all those states below, France owned that. The United States didn't own all of that. It's because Napoleon was so scared of the Haitians, he said, to hell with this shit. These people over here is crazy. And he gave it up. And I think that's when they did the Louisiana Purchase. Because the Haitians scared the fuck out of Napoleon. And he didn't want anything to do with it. Remember, the states, it was below the Mason-Dixon line and the Louisiana Purchase. Remember, France owned half of the United States. That was Napoleon. France, the Haitians kicked Napoleon's ass. And they were so afraid they didn't want anything to do with the United States. Because remember, everybody was exploring the United States, bringing their slaves, acting like it was their goddamn country. But people was there already. They're fucking Indians. So they're just fucking thieves. It's one big thievery. So how are you going to take something back that is not even your fucking land, man? Understand the history. That's why they don't want you to know CRT. So that's why I tell people, go and get your own information. Learn. Learn about the Louisiana Purchase. Learn that the United States, half of the United States used to be owned by France. Napoleon. Who beat Napoleon? It wasn't even the damn settlers. It was the Haitians defeated Napoleon. Got his ass so scared, he didn't even want nothing to do with the United States. That's why he gave it over to England. See, because we were under slavery, not just under, we wasn't even America then. We were under slavery under Europe. That's where it started. Until America was established officially. But America used to be two. It was France and England. And then we booted all of them out. And that's how we became the United States of America. But we were under colonial rule for a long time. That's where your 4th of July comes from. So we got a lot of shit going on. A lot of shit. And biggest problem is not knowing history. So those black people, America needs to be grateful for them, or they probably would never got the Louisiana Purchase. Because they're the ones that scared off the French.
So ultimately,
So that's where we're at today.
So ultimately, with all of that going, what do you think happens from, you said Title 42, the mass amount of Haitians that are now heading this way? Do you think that they will be caught in the middle of a long battle? Do you think that ultimately they will be given access to America, or do you think that Biden will find?
I think they'll get. Here's what I think. I know where you're going with that. I think they will. They're going to be forced to, because if them 30, I didn't hear about them other 30,000 people coming. And if them 30,000 people come, if they continue to treat them like that, see, their white supremacy is being exposed. See, they're real careful with hiding it and the trickery. Mm-hmm. I think with today's people and the climate, the environment, we ain't going for it. Now, you can do it, but they going to pay. And I'm going to tell you, you better just go ahead and get ready for a Republican probably for the next 8 to 10 to 15 years. Not unless we get an independent. Because from what I'm seeing, if the Democrats don't get their shit together, they will never win again. They're going to get slaughtered in the midterms. Slaughtered.
You think so?
Oh, I know so. They're going to get fucking slaughtered.
So I have a question. Who do you think is more?
And Trump, Trump said he's coming back in 2024. You know that.
Yeah, I think it's a long time away. I'd be all for it to see it happen. I think it's going to be.
But they're going to get slaughtered in 2022. They could probably use this as a place to redeem themselves, but they're going to get slaughtered in 2022. And then all Trump is going to do is get himself ready for 2024, and then he's going to win.
So who do you feel is because you got a lot of people who allege that Trump was a white supremacist, and you see what's going on with Biden currently. In your opinion, who would be a bigger or more of a white supremacist between Biden and Trump?
Okay, I'm on the East Coast. Mm-hmm. I live in Washington. I used to go to New York every weekend. Mm-hmm. If you down here, everybody knows except other people. Mm-hmm. We've been known Trump. Mm-hmm. Trump has been a playboy for years. The Taj Mahal. I used to drive to New York, to New Jersey, to the Taj Mahal to go and get my Gucci shoes. Mm-hmm. Gamble. It was a hot spot. Mm-hmm. He had the thing. He was a Trump was a Democrat. Trump is a hustler. That's why, if you see the rappers and everything, they don't say nothing. We know Trump. Trump ain't nothing but a hustler. And he knew how to appeal to the racism. But in his heart, Trump ain't been nothing but around black people forever. He hangs with all the rappers. He's with all the parties. He just tricked white folks. We know who we are. We know who he is. He's a hustler. You got to understand, when you New York, Atlanta, New Jersey, that type of, that hustle mode, that mafia, that Italian, the black, you got the Puerto Ricans, it's a whole different ball game up here. And everybody knows everybody's hustle. He's a hustler. All he did was hustle his way there. But that's why, if you notice, he did that as rhetoric because he wants to win. See, he wants to win. A hustler wants to win. It's a power thing. But if you notice, Trump never did anything against black people. Think about it. He may have rabble-roused them white folks because he was hustling them so he could get the power. But we know Trump. Trump used to be with us, hanging out at the casinos and shit. He was a Democrat. He switched to Republicans just to do this presidential thing, and I really believe that he didn't think he was going to win. So he just kept on hustling. That's what you do when you're from the streets. Trump is from the street. He gangster. And it used to be funny to me because they didn't understand. Trump is gangster. That's his background. He's a gangster. And he's a hustler. And if you are a northern Negro like myself, you know that. But the people in the South, they don't know that. But if you look at what he did, he talked a lot of shit. But he didn't did he do us any harm?
No, he didn't.
He didn't. All he did, and the harm that he did do, I'm not totally giving him accolades, but what he did do, he stirred up that racism because he understood. That was his pinpoint. He knew I got to stir up that he was smart enough to know, but that's just hustling. He's gonna stir that up, and he rabble rouses that to get his votes or popularity or to get his point across. But in policy and in things that, in fact, he was the only black. He's the only president. Even in one of his speeches, he said himself, look it up. He said, blacks built America. And what did he tell the blacks? He said that the Democrats are using you. You don't have anything to lose. Correct. You need to vote for me. You remember he said that?
Yeah, I was talking about that earlier today. They got mad when he said it. They said, that's what I was talking about earlier. They got mad. They said that was more racist than Joe Biden coming out and saying, oh, you ain't black if you don't vote for me.
No, but see, people don't know. And a lot of us up here, see, we weren't really that scared because we knew Trump. Trump used to be hanging out with the club. See, people didn't know, you know what I mean? He was a gangster. I mean, Atlantic City, he owned half Atlantic City, all the hotels. I mean, that was the place to go. I used to drive up from D.C. We used to go to New York just to party. I used to leave on a Friday after work and come home Sunday. Party all weekend. New Jersey. I mean, it was just a life. It was almost like, that's that East Coast life. You know, California, L.A., Hollywood, you know, they got that kind of life. We got that kind of life, too. It's like, but we don't have, like, all these big-time stars and shit like they got in L.A. and California. Up here on the north is gangsters. See, we got our own stars, but they gangsters. You know, you got the Italian mafia, you got Cubans, Puerto Ricans, you know, every ethnic, and it's by ethnic group. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. But everybody got their stars. See, our stars are gangsters. Their stars were people like in the movies and shit. So, but it's a whole different celebrity up there. And it ain't even a celebrity. It's underground. It's a different kind of celebrity. I can't even really explain it. But you know your boundaries. It's like it's some unwritten rules. You know your boundaries up here in the north, especially there in, you know, New York, New Jersey. Everybody got their rules, and that's just the way it is. Call it segregation, but there's respect. There's a lot of respect. But there's a lot of gangsterism, some shit that, see, they're not going to brag about, like Crips of the Bloods and yeah. Nah, you don't really hear about that up there. But it's there. It's there, and it's serious. But they don't glorify it. They don't glorify it. That's why you got the Gottis. Everybody's like, oh, John Gotti. That shit is real quiet, and it's real underground. And some real loyalty, but it's also very, very dangerous. It's just a whole different type of scenarios, you know. People aren't as blatant with it. But it's there. And Trump was a part of all of that. That's why everybody was like, what? That gangster about to be president? We was like, okay, whatever. Oh, and then when we was like, oh, he going this route. Now he trying to be like the rodeo, like the redneck. We like, come on, man. They call him the orange man. You know damn well you be hanging with all the black folks, all the gangsters. You ain't nowhere near no damn Republican. But he switched it up for power. He loves power. And that's my take on it. But if you notice, he never hurt a black person.
No, and that's my thing. That's why I don't understand why niggas was so mad. Niggas was mad for things he might have said, like innuendo that he may have made towards Hispanic, bad hombres, or they don't send their best, or something like that. Little things. And again, the things he said weren't just, in my opinion, direct insults, but anyway, it's just the way he said it. People kind of took their own definition from it and ran with it. He just didn't say, no, that's not what I said. He just kind of let them run with it. And then, you know, then people try to say, oh, he said this, he said that. I don't think he ever said anything too often. To me, he spoke the truth. Now, a lot of stuff that you see.
I never felt, as a black woman and a black person being the East Coast, now you got these liberals is different now up here on the East Coast, especially if you're dealing with that gay shit.
Yeah.
So if you on that team, so it's all kinds of teams, man. That's like a fucking game, though. You know that. That's just like the mafia, the blacks, the Puerto Ricans, even the Haitians.
Mm-hmm.
You got them up in New York too. Everybody got their clique. The freaking the LBT, that's a clique. You know that. They gangsters. Shit.
Yeah.
Don't underestimate them. That's why they running shit now.
Unfortunately, this is true.
And they just run it in a different kind of way, but it's the same scenario. But I have never, because I understand that culture, it's a respect culture. Respect is so big. And everybody can get along, I'm telling you. But because of respect. And nobody dies, nobody get killed or anything unless you disrespect. And so we got a lot of that because there's a lot of youngins that don't understand the old rules. So it's all out of control now. But no, we didn't have those problems. I never felt, because I knew where Trump came from. I never felt fearful. You know what I mean? Because I know, and that's why nobody liked him for real. Because even though he was running, but he was also exposing all the bullshit. So he really was protecting you when you really didn't even understand that he was. Even though he was using all that patriot shit, he was exposing a lot of stuff that most people ain't supposed to talk about. Like, remember the COVID bill? He refused to sign it.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I'm not signing the COVID bill because they're trying to sneak in all these millions of dollars to do freaking LBGT education for Afghans. Yeah. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See, that's not what he's supposed to say. See? He was like, I'm not signing this bill because you're doing this, that, and the other, and you're not doing anything for the American people. America first. Now, he was very serious about that. When he said America first, he was very serious. That's why he put Title 42 in place. That's why we had immigration under control. Mm-hmm. Now, think about it. Immigration was under control with Title 42. Biden came and fucked it up because he came in and loosened it up and let all the Mexicans in. Now, here come the Haitians. He don't know what the fuck to do with them, and it's making them look bad. Yeah. But what Biden should have did, he should have left the Trump policy alone. Mm-hmm. Because Trump had that immigration under control. With nobody trying to come up in here. So what he should have done if he was smart, he should have took his time and he should have modified Title 42. But he should have kept it in. It was already in place. He didn't revoke it. But what he did was, I'm going to tell you where he went wrong. He applied it unequally. Yes. He applied Title 42 differently from the Mexicans than the blacks. He done fucked up now. That's why I say he about to lose in 2022. He about to lose power and control down to the Senate. That's where he went wrong. What he should have did was just left the shit alone. The border was cool. And he could have just took his time, really reviewed the policies, get it straight, and deal with everybody equally. But that's not what he did. See, he caping. See, that's what he was doing. He was thirsty. That's the words they use now. He was caping and thirsty, trying to get all this cred. And you done thirst your way out of a fucking midterm, motherfucker. Mm. So go get your water. I hope you got some Gatorade, because you are going to be thirsty. Okay? 2022, blacks ain't fucking with you. That's all I got to say. That's how I know you going to lose. 2022, the black man ain't fucking with you. Or the black woman. And in addition to that, they actually low-key like Trump. They just can't say it. They low-key lovers. What do you call that? Down low brothers. They low-key love Trump. They just can't say it.
That's sad.
That's why I know they better not let Trump resurrect himself. Because the Democrats will never win. If Trump comes back, Democrats will never win. And it'll be another 8 years of Trump. Now they're going to have to do a serious turnaround. And then Trump, we already know Trump faking. We know who he is. He ain't going to do nothing to hurt us. You got to think about it. He's the only one. Biden didn't even do that before he came out. He's the only one that came up with a black agenda.
Yeah.
He literally came up with a black agenda.
Mm-hmm.
So he really tried to do something.
Do you think it was the media that did a successful job of convincing black folks that Trump was
Yes.
a bad guy?
Yes. Not only that, but it's history. It's like it's a whole, we march in place for the third. That's why we shouldn't be Democrats. We should be independent.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm an independent. So I go either way. I mean, you're not going to just put me in nobody's fucking box. I need to figure out what you're saying out your mouth. And what are your principles? What are your policies? I'm not going to be beholden to one box. Because things and priorities change, right? Don't things change in your house from year to year?
Yes.
In your life? Certain things become important. Certain thing is taken care of and it's not as important. You got to change priorities. To me, that's the same thing with politics. I just don't sit there, you a Democrat and you just that all your damn life.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I love being an independent, because it's all about priorities. It's not beholding to like one philosophy, because it could be certain things in the philosophy of the Democratic Party that I agree with. It could be certain things in the philosophy of the Republican Party that I agree with. But it's about what is your priority? What is important to you right now? Is immigration important to you right now? Is minimum wage important to you right now? There's going to be different things on the side. But no house is going to be the same year after year after year. And they just have to tell people, think about your individual life. Does your life stay the same year after year after year after year? No, there's going to be different changes. There's going to be different things that impact your life that's going to affect your decisions. So something that was cool with you yesterday, oh, yeah, it was all good and cool yesterday, but that may not necessarily be cool today. Same principle. It's basic to me, and it's not something to demonize anybody over. You don't demonize. I mean, because at the end of the day, we're supposed to be working as one. It's supposed to be one America, United States, right? Yeah. But I don't think we're a United States at this point. I think we're a divided states. Yeah. But that's the principle. So I don't get into all of that. I don't give a fuck. You call yourself a Trumper, a MAGA. I'm not intimidated by that. That's your opinion. Mm-hmm. But I have my opinion. I just stated it on this phone call. I'm not going to reverse myself, for what I believe in, and I don't expect you to reverse yourself. I mean, but we can at least, we ain't got to shoot each other, and we ain't got to storm the Capitol and all that shit. Ain't that serious? God damn, calm down. Can you give me a drink? Can we just have a drink or something? A beer summit? Look, can we have a beer summit and calm down? It ain't that serious. It really ain't. Life is really good. America's good. We just caught up in our own shit. Everybody's like all defensive right now. That's the problem. Everybody's all defensive. You need to get back to the hippie days, the love days.
Oh man, I think the love is gone. I wish that we could, but I think certain groups that are all about quote unquote love is love and happiness, that they're really pushing some of the most hate because they feel a particular kind of way. And it seems those groups that feel like at one point in time that they were oppressed or looked down upon, when they have a chance to balance out or, become equal, that's not satisfactory enough. If they feel a particular way, they want more than that. They want to feel like they could be in a position to look down on the group that they felt oppressed them or prior. So I think a lot of these alphabetical situations, when you hear a lot of these people speak, there's a lot of hate. Well,
everybody, you know what it is? It's power. Mm-hmm. Everybody is jockeying for a position. Mm-hmm. They're trying to position themselves for power and level shift. Okay? But that ain't cool. No. So you're going to have to fight somebody if you want to get to the next step. Mm-hmm. It ain't going to be handed over to you. So and let me tell you something about America. America will never be its soul and the disgruntledness and all the energy and everything seems out of control. I honestly believe this. America will never be at peace until it makes amends with its American slaves, and that's black folks. It's like a curse. You have got to make amends. It's a troubled spirit. You have never made amends, and the American slave has been here before any other immigrant. Has been with you, white man, all your life. Have even fed your own children. Breastfeed your own children. Remember, they had babies, they wouldn't breastfeed them. Did you know that?
Yeah, I heard about that.
The slaves had to breastfeed their damn babies. Our relationship is a love-hate relationship. That is a relationship that no other immigrant has, and we are not immigrants. We are a distinctive class. We are not immigrants. We are the only set of people who did not migrate or immigrate here. We were stolen and taken and used.
So I got one question.
And we are still here.
And that question is, how, in your opinions, do they make amends for?
First of all, they can't be so flippant about it and trying to convince us that it didn't happen or be dismissive about it, because there's this whole consensus of, oh, that was a long time ago. No, the trauma is still there. It is systemic. And then the way that I answer that, if you think of yourself in your life in 2021, say if you had a rich mother or father, and your father, unfortunately, went to the upper room, they passed. So are you going to say, and your father left you $1 million house, are you going to sit up there and say, oh, I'm not going to accept my inheritance because I didn't work for that house? To me, that's the equivalent to you saying, all of the inheritances this country, this wealth, I told you the story of the Haitians. We're the ones, the Haitians are the ones that got you the goddamn Louisiana Purchase. And you took us as slaves. Those are Caribbean slaves. That ain't even damn American slaves. To build this country for free with no wages. So it's, to me, it's equivalent when somebody says, oh, that was a long time ago. I didn't own any slaves. I didn't have anything to do with that. But the very country that you're in and the wealth that this country has is because of the American slaves. So if that's the case, if that's your position, I want every white man, Spanish, or whoever in America, if your mother and father dies, a lot of times they give what? Inheritance, right? I want you to reject your inheritance because you didn't work for it, right? So if you didn't work for that inheritance that your mother gave you, and if you take that position, then that means you wouldn't accept it. That's the same principle. This is an inheritance that you have that you literally didn't work for. The Black American did. We wouldn't even be the superpower that we were if it wasn't for free labor. So you are getting the benefit whether or not you realize it or not. So that's the best way that I can really explain it. So it's like, okay, I didn't own a slave, but yeah, you didn't own a slave, but you're getting the benefits of a slave. Do you think America, the free, the beautiful, all these civil rights, do you think somebody just fucking clicked their heels 3 times like the Wizard of Oz and this shit just popped up and was beautiful? How the fuck you think we got here?
So I have kind of a spinoff of that.
What's the spin?
So would you say that in the long term, Black Americans also benefited from that work? Because you look at many places in Africa, blacks that are still in Africa. I'm not saying all, there are some very nice places, some things that are immaculate in Africa. But there is also a large portion of sub-Saharan Africa where things are not as ideal. By being here post-slavery and everything else, that we reap the benefits of being in what many of these people, these immigrants, these Haitians, the Mexicans, the Afghans, and all these people are fighting to come over here for, that we're already here and we benefit from these things. Do you think that is equivalent in any manner, or do you think more is owed?
I think it's equivalent, but no, actually I don't think it's equivalent. I think it's equivalent in that it's all about repair and compensation. Okay, it's equivalent. It's equivalent now because we fought to make it equal. That's what people don't understand. There was no equality. They didn't want the Irish. They didn't want the Chinese. They didn't want, who else did they discriminate against in the early days? See, people don't understand. But the difference is they weren't slaves. They could get low pay wages. They still got paid a wage. If they were indentured servitude, it wasn't forever like slavery. They weren't considered as property. It's different when you think about economics. Economically, you got to think of it in dollars and cents. We were property. We were unpaid labor. So I don't know anybody in 2021 that wants to get up and go and work their job Monday through Friday and look for a check on Friday and you ain't getting a motherfucking thing.
No,
That's what you call unpaid labor. So you work your job. If you happy with that, oh, fuck it. Oh, that was long. Oh, no. I work my job every 2 weeks. I want a paycheck, right?
Mhm.
That's what slavery was. You work 2 weeks with no paycheck. And you did it for years and years and years, and you never compensated. You never even tried to compensate. That's why America will never. That's why we're in turmoil now. I'm telling you, it's karma. It's karma. And see, black people know it. That's why we sit back. We were here before any other immigrant. There was no immigrants. None. No such thing as a Chinese. No such thing as, well, Mexicans are actually, they're Indians. So a lot of them were, they actually were here. The Mantissamos, most of them were like some of them were indigenous Indians. And they got conquered, especially down in South America. But see, we didn't control South America. We got our little land, Oklahoma. That's why you got those Indians and the Mexicans, and that's why they have the Alamo, and they have the thing that they want to reclaim Texas, that is their land and all that. That's where that comes from. Because we pushed them down. They were actually here. And we pushed them back down to South America. And then we controlled everything from there. But they couldn't do all that without the slave. The slave was there. The slave was like here from day one with all the wickedness going on. And that is a whole bunch of people that owe us reparations. We owe our reparations. If we don't get our reparations, America will fall. And it's already going there. And it's not just that. The Indians own us. The Indians own slaves. Africa owes us reparations. Some African tribes sold us. United States, Europe. There was a lot of hands in this cookie jar, baby. And we know it. We know it. We are the indigenous people. We know the evils. And we sat back so patiently. And we see it. That's why we're not afraid. That's why I don't say, yeah, I'm a descendant of American slavery. But when you think of that term, we are really survivors. I mean, we are survivors. We survived all this shit. There's nobody that can make that claim. In addition to that, we have fought in every war that the United States, America has waged. Every single war. China man can't make that claim. Mexican man can't make that claim. No other man can make that claim because they weren't there. Immigration wasn't even allowed until 1866. Think about it. They didn't even allow immigration. That's what I'm saying. The Irish, they discriminate against everybody. The Irish had to fight. Everybody, there's a lot of discrimination going on here in America. These Europeans, you got to remember, we dealing with the French in Europe. They didn't want, certain people they did not want in here. Even if you were white, they didn't want you in here. But they still never treated the white until they were immigrants. That's how the word immigrant came. Ellis Island, all that. They weren't even allowed in here. But once they finally allowed immigration, which I think it wasn't even until something like 1866. We didn't have any immigration. That's when people started coming from other countries. It wasn't even allowed. But even when they came in, they weren't treated like black folks. We were still slaves. Or coming out of slavery at Jim Crow, we were still treated like shit. We everybody's fucking doormat. And we've been here, we day ones, what you call day ones. And they've never given us any repair. Didn't even fucking give us an apology. It's like, shut up and, if you're a basketball player, it's like saying just go shut up and dribble. You just go and continue to do your work. But we fought. We created all kinds of hell. Civil rights movements. It wasn't for the black folks and the big black mouth, what I say, the rabble rousers. We're the ones that changed the laws and pushed it and made it easier. We're the ones. Frederick Douglass was the one that fought for immigration. A black man. Frederick Douglass, look to see what he does. He is the one that fought to get Chinese and everybody else in here. This white man did not want them in here. They didn't want them. Frederick Douglass, and then that's when the blacks came for the civil rights laws and the immigration laws. We're the ones that literally fought for that. But see, they don't want us. They don't want them to know the history. That's why they're fighting against this thing called the CRT. What the fuck is that all about? CRT been around since the 70s. Why are you guys making a big deal out of it? Oh, because people are interested in knowing the truth, knowing your history, the one that you've been hiding in the school. When if you're a study person, you got to actually go and do extra study to know what I know. Depends on how you were raised. So now all of a sudden it's like, oh, taboo. How's it taboo when it's the fucking truth? It's your history. And that's more of you trying to deny, and that's why you're going to continue to suffer. Because, see, at the end of the day, and trust me, these immigrants, these people, they know. They sitting back watching. They watching us. They watching everything. And pretty soon, the white man going to be gone. Their numbers going down. But the black man ain't going to be gone. Hispanic man ain't going to be gone.
Mm.
But the white man is, because their duplication numbers are low. So what? The only thing that's going to happen is that they're just going to have to let go of that racism. They're going to have to let go.
Mm.
They can't rule forever. What superpower do you know in history that ruled forever? Think about it.
I mean,
Don't think America can't go down.
There's decline in every one of them, and I think there are certain actions that take place. But here's the, because I kind of, like I said, I'm about to get ready to wind down because I'm not going to lie to you, I'm a little bit tired here. But you have generated a few thoughts in my mind. I think tomorrow's conversation is going to be a spinoff of what we're speaking on this evening. And so,
yeah, like where do we go with from? Well, whatever's in your mind. But to me, let me tell you. So we went off into history and a bunch of stuff, but we were talking about these immigrants. I'm telling you, there's more coming. I think maybe by tomorrow it'll hit the news more. But we got to think about, what are we going to do when 30,000 people show up at our borders? What are we going to do?
I'm curious.
What is this country going to do? We got some real serious questions to answer as a country. And how are we going to treat them?
Yeah, that's like I said. I think this, if it is true that 30,000 are coming, this may be a very historical moment to see how it's handled.
Yes. So stay tuned. So that's what they estimated. They said they're on their way. I don't know if they got the message. I don't know what the communications is, but they mentioned it twice. I don't know if they really know what's going on under that bridge, but they said that they're headed for that Texas bridge, and that's where you at, in Texas. So they coming to a theater near you, Honcho.
Hey, we do things a little differently down here in Texas, so they better stay under that bridge. That's the best bet till they get it all figured out. But it's very interesting.
Okay.
You've ignited a few thoughts. Like I said, tomorrow we definitely gonna have a very. I had a different thing in mind. I think we'll push that back. What's tomorrow? Wednesday. I might probably push it back Friday because I don't know if we're gonna have a day on Thursday. But but so tomorrow we're gonna have a continuation of this conversation because there's a few things you said.
Okay, I'll try to tune in tomorrow.
Yes, well,
I'll try to tune in tomorrow. Okay. Good combo though.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, man.
Wait a minute. I gotta ask. Where's Rashida? They talking about something. She died of COVID. Is that a joke?
That's a very mean thing to say. I don't know where she would be currently at this time and place. I hope all is well with her. I mean, just we haven't.
They were
spoken.
joking. They were pulling my. They were
Yes.
blowing smoke up my ass. Okay.
Yes.
All right. As long as she's okay.
She is.
Okay, dear. All right. I'll try to tune in tomorrow.
All right, Miss Sunshine. As always, I enjoy speaking with you, and I look forward to talking to you soon.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. All right, don't get to speak to Miss Sunshine often, so every now and then we extend the den a bit. I see some of you folks very riled up in the comment section. I love it. It grinds your gears. That's what the den is all about. That's why I like having differing opinions. That's why, if y'all will notice, sometimes I let certain callers, get to espouse a variety of opinions and thoughts. Because y'all sit there and get mad, and ain't nothing you can do about it. You talk about it, or you get mad and leave. But I love it, man. So she is definitely, because this is a conversation that could definitely go on all night. Look, I'm old, y'all know. Look, I just turned old. So we're definitely going to have a good conversation tomorrow, because there's a couple of things I wrote down, and she started getting into some points, especially on the slavery aspect and just where the future is headed, right? You know what I'm saying? And King Maya BZ, if you want to report me, be oh, bitch ass nigga, you bad because of somebody else said. I seen you in the crying in the fucking comments the whole time. Report me like a snitch. I don't give a fuck. Like, god damn. You've been in there crying the whole time because you can't stand somebody else having a different opinion to you. You sitting there talking about y'all, this, that, and the other. Shut the fuck up. If you can't stand hearing somebody else have a different opinion, then that's a you problem. I'm like, report, man. I don't give a fuck. They ain't even say that. I'm sitting there watching you the whole time. Y'all, this, and you mad because I'm letting somebody speak. That's the problem with the fucking country today. It's people like you who can't sit there and listen to a differing opinion. You know what I'm saying? Because your thought process is too fragile to understand why people think differently. And then you don't have the ability to debate somebody without being emotional. That's female shit. King shit, queen shit, nigga. God damn. Sound like a crybaby. I'm sitting there watching you the whole time laughing about the shit because you getting riled up. You the main one getting mad and getting riled up. Like, I don't agree with everything she said, but I allowed her to speak. If I was a whole ass nigga, I'd have hung the phone up. Like, god damn, you said hate speech and you say this and I'm a crybaby ass nigga. That's the only other people who said something like that have been females. Like, the fuck out of here, bro. That's the den. If you can't hang in the den, like, slide. We allow people to speak here. This is not a fucking echo chamber. If you don't agree, get on the line tomorrow, call in, express yourself. If you don't have the ability to express yourself, then this ain't the place for you. Fucking crying about some shit. Like, that's the problem with this fucking country. Motherfuckers crying hate speech. What the fuck is hate speech? Me having opinions on something? That shit don't make no fucking sense, dog. Like, that's the problem. You're the problem with this country. You. Not people having their opinions or whatever they fucking believe. Like, you're the problem. That's what's wrong with it. But I don't want to hear somebody saying this. I can't stand this. I can't. This is a room about free. This is a community about free speech. There's been a lot of people who came in here and said certain things I agree with, certain things I disagree with. I've never cut nobody off. No, bro, don't try to use this as a chance to slide in and get you a wrench. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, get the fuck out of here, brother. Well, that's what I'm saying, like that crybaby shit. You might not be built for this. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers love it when you saying the shit they agree with as soon as you say something that ain't 100% a lie. That's why I tell y'all about that shit. That's why I say I don't do the whole conservative angle, because I'm not a conservative. I'm an independent thinker. So an independent person is not going to fall in line with anybody 100% of the time. I don't expect people to fall in line with me 100% of the time. Like, I expect people to have opinions, right? That's independence, having your own thoughts. And so, like I said, because I could easily do that. Oh, I'm a conservative channel, and then you'd have a million people rush up in here. Oh, he's black and he's conservative. Oh, I'm rocking with him. And then as soon as you say that one thing they don't like, they start fucking acting like that dude. And a feminine man, I don't like it. You're saying hate speech. I let Sean talk the majority of the time. I wasn't saying too much. I asked her a couple of questions, right? And I said something actually that different what I thought when I asked about, you know, the benefits. But you in here crying because you don't like the shit. That's feminine shit. You need to check yourself. You can report me, but you still need to check yourself. Like, I don't give a fuck. That's weird shit. Like, that's the problem with this country. Motherfuckers need echo chambers. Like, I don't care if you're on the right or the left. Motherfuckers need echo chambers to exist. I listen to other people to know either, hey, maybe they do got a good point there, or maybe, hey, I completely disagree with that, and this is how I strengthen my argument against that conversation. Like, motherfuckers is weird. 2020, 2021 didn't fuck motherfuckers up or something. Like, motherfuckers don't soft. Yeah, I just want to hear everything I want to hear. I don't like it. It's hate speech. What kind of grown man? What kind of grown man that's not in the alphabet community is structurally limp-wristed uses a term like hate speech? Anyway, as I was saying, apologize for me getting out of character there. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, sounds very intelligent. You know what I mean? Again, we're all allowed to have opinions and perspectives. If we just sit here and listen to the same shit over and over again, that's fucking lame as shit. That's fucking brainwashing. Like, if you need that, you go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's just weird to me. That's just annoying. Like, the one thing y'all know that I do not like, dog, is just motherfuckers trying to silence somebody else for having a differing opinion. Now, if you saying just some dumb shit that just has nothing to do with anything, you spamming, that's like a different thing. This person saying stuff I don't like. You know the magic of the internet? You don't have to be in any place on the internet. It's a wide open expanse that you can go anywhere you want to. You don't like this side of it? You get to go over here. Hey, I don't like YouTube. I'm going to go on Facebook. I don't like Facebook. I'm going to go on Twitch. I don't like Twitch. That's the beauty of it. Instead, motherfuckers like want to sit and cry and think that motherfuckers have to sit there and appease them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to appease nobody. If you fuck with me, you fuck with me, and I appreciate you for that. But if you don't, you got a whole wide open ass internet to go and explore and find yourself. Because obviously you need somebody to reinforce your beliefs. Sorry, this ain't the place for that, obviously. If you can't hang with that, I don't know what to tell you, Chief. Like, that shit don't make no fucking sense, dog. Like, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my whole belief is like, that's the problem nowadays. Like, people cannot, and remember I talked about that the other, like back in the day, like liberals and conservatives would debate each other. And it'd be a cordial debate. And they would slick talk each other, even though they may say it in a, you know, a polite manner. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, come on, bro. All that crying and shit. That's why we're getting weaker. You just as bad as any, the statement like that, you just as bad as any of these people out there fucking crying about not being allowed, men not being allowed in women's bathrooms and all that other weird shit. You're no different from them people. Talking about some fucking hate speech. Get the fuck out of here, man. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, just, I don't understand it, bro. I cannot comprehend that manner of thinking. You know what I'm saying? I cannot comprehend it. Like, a lot of shit I don't agree with is in this world. But when you try to cancel somebody else speaking, somebody else, is the most racist. I'm the most racist. I hold on to the title of the most racist. I'm racist. I leverage heavy amounts of racism against everybody. Right? Everybody can get it. But one person, like I say, if I come in here and I'm bashing on niggas, people like that, yeah. As soon as somebody come and say something a little bit, oh, it's terrible, it's hate, like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Like, again, anybody can get it. But people like I said, I'm going to a comedian show with this comedian, he's like, yeah, everybody laughs until the joke's about you. It's the same thing with any other conversation. Everybody's rooting for, yeah. Till you start talking about their demographic. You know what I'm saying? Till you start talking about their section. You know what I'm saying? Then it ain't funny no more. Then I don't like it anymore. You know what I mean? Like, get the fuck out of here, man. Like, I've never heard this person ever in the den before. I don't know how long they've been there. And then as soon as I start talking about it, then just start going off. And I'm just looking at it. I'm just laughing at this because I'm thinking it's funny. and then gonna start crying about some damn hate speech. So you've been here, you've seen all this shit, ain't had nothing to contribute to it. But then as soon as somebody started talking about they felt the need for reparations or, you know, a situation like this, you start crying about it. What does that say about you? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have nothing positive to contribute. You just wait until somebody's saying something, you don't have nothing like that. You want to jump in and start crying about it. Who are you? You know what I'm saying? Like, who are, like, everybody in here who's commenting actively is relatively well known. I saw two names that I may not, yeah, at first when he first said something, I thought he was like going to be okay. He might have been all right. Like he said, I was trying to see where he was going with it, but then it was kind of like hard to decipher some of this. Like, where then I was just saying, oh, no, this motherfucker's a hater. That's what it is. Talking about, like, it was all cool till the hate speech thing. I'm going to put your face. No, that's female tendencies. Because you didn't like what somebody was saying. Nobody attacked you. Nobody said, I don't even know what you are. Right? But because you associate yourself with whatever groups, I don't know what he said he was. And then it's hate speech. I'm a reporter for hate speech. Okay. You're going to report because I allow somebody to have a differing opinion from my own to speak. I'd hate to be in your circle of friends. I think it would be not that interesting. Anyway. I appreciate those of you who understand how this thing works. Right? What do most people do if they don't like the current conversation? They step out, they ignore it, or they espouse their thoughts in the comments. Right? Then, next caller, whatever they do agree to, or they actually rebut the thoughts coherently, you know what I'm saying, but they disagree with. Instead of crying, I'm going to report you for... The only, y'all know the only other person who did that, and you know, well, I won't say the only other person, but we have welcomed them back recently. You know what I'm saying? Because you know me, I don't take no hate. I just don't like, if you don't understand, if you misunderstand how this works, then again, like, it may not be the community for you. Like, that's the problem. Everybody wants to shut down people having differing opinions. That's the lamest shit going on. People on the left who try to shut down anybody who ain't pushing alphabets on a pedestal or feminism on a pedestal and all that. That's whack. Anybody on the right, well, you know, because you should be able to speak. That's all whack. Everybody should be able to speak however they want to, right? If you don't like it, either rebut it coherently or leave. So, yeah, we might have to bring back debate dens, right? Because it's been a long time. We used to do a little something like that where people would get on with each other, have calls with one another, and discuss where they felt like that person was wrong. So we may need to bring that back. It's been a long time. But we used to do it when people had beef with each other. Like when people had like real beef, but then motherfuckers get on the phone and call each other bitches 1,000 times. So, you know. That's crazy. See, it's people like that. That's why I say I'm waiting for this motherfucking hard drive to get in. So as soon as that bitch gets in, I'm fucking backing up all the fucking dens. Because like I say, on this platform, you see the people are getting softer. Like, I'm not saying y'all, the den folks, but some of these motherfuckers come in here, you know, for whatever video, whatever thing they saw, they may agree with that and don't realize what's really going on, that this ain't like other fucking channels, you know what I'm saying? That's why I say I need to go ahead and stop bullshitting and get this fucking server and do this other shit, like, because bring it back ready for it now. Yeah, that's what I'm like. I'm king. That's a very soft king. Like, I'm not taking no more calls tonight. Buddy need to call in tomorrow and explain this. I'd like to hear how this gentleman talks. I'd love to have a conversation with this person because something don't sound. I appreciate the super chat love. Savage Donald Trump. Shout out to Big B. I don't know if he's still there, but I appreciate the donation, love, and becoming a member. Like I said, I know it was on the phone call, so you know I usually try to let the people talk and things like that. But it's just like, man, hey, but it wouldn't be the den if it wasn't for some haters, right? If somebody hating, you got to be doing something right, baby. Like, you got to reevaluate yourself, Chief. Like, again, I thought kings used to be people who were renowned for their wisdom. I know some of them fell in line due to heritage, but some of those didn't last very long. But I always thought kings were renowned for their wisdom and their ability to lead, understand. Who was it? Solomon was the wise king. I don't know. Things have changed. These new modern age things are much different. Anyway, that being said, beef in the den. King need to call in. We can bring the beef conversation back. I'm all with that shit. We can definitely have that conversation. It'll be light work. Anywho, heads up, Thursday, y'all know I do the sauce and the motherfucking den, right? Texans play a primetime game on Thursday, so that's gonna run late, so there will not be a den. I don't know. Maybe we do an early den. I'll see. Maybe we do an early den, and then we go from there, right? So we'll go from there. Well, how nice of you, Broderick. I don't know what I did, but I appreciate you too. So keep the ribs cooking. But like I say, so Thursday, we may have an early day. I'll let y'all know tomorrow night, because I don't like leaving the den folks out. You know what I'm saying? So we may have to kick up a midday den or a little bit earlier den or something, and we'll see how that goes. You gonna have all them feisty young men all over you. Better watch out there now, Miss Grace. And the sauce, get saucy in the sauce. I don't know. I think the den folk are more savage than the sauce. I don't know. Now y'all was mean. The sauce is mean to my buddy Unger though. That shit was not nice. Y'all was mean to my boy Unger. But with that being said, I'm gonna call it a wrap. Shout out to Miss Sean, great call. Shout out to Travis, great call. You know, it's just I fucks with y'all, then folk. Y'all know what it is. Like I said, we're a community around here. We don't really care about the haters. And again, y'all know how I rock around here. Whether we agree 100%, whether we disagree, all opinions are welcome. It's that crying shit that I just can't deal with. Like, that's the shit I cannot fucking deal with. Everything else, it's caution, my friend. But you guys have a good night. I thank y'all. Make sure you're following all the proper you call in from the food truck. You're gonna be having what did he call him the other day? I forgot. He's gonna be twerking in the background, gunshots, ribs cooking. It'd be a very interesting call. I probably prefer calls from the food truck instead of the toilet. Shout out to Lockwood, man. But I appreciate y'all. I'm trying to goose y'all. Be cool like y'all be cool. Until tomorrow evening. And y'all ain't got to go home. Make sure you're not getting chased by anybody on a horse crossing the border. Saturday den. I'll think about it. Because it depends. It depends because I'll see. It's just because some things may be going on this weekend. I'm not for sure 100%, but we'll see. Maybe not. We'll see. Like I said, I'll let you know. We'll either do a Saturday or an early Thursday den. So we'll make sure it gets made up for. So with that being said, chunking deuces. Y'all be cool. Well, you know what? Yeah, bro, we can do a den. You got to promote it while you at the rib. Hey, watch this shit, man. This nigga here crazy. These people you can name, they complain about you. They let them complain. They'll be all right. But I'm gone. Y'all be cool. Yeah, Broderick all about slavery. You've been a slave driver since day one. Broderick like Anthony Johnson. You already know Broderick A. Johnson. All right, I'm going for real. Y'all ain't got to go home. I got to get the fuck out of there. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all have a good night.